Yeah.
So Katie can't come. She is working tonight, but she does. She. It's not necessarily a question per se, but more like RP advice that she wish she would have received as a new player.
Okay.
But we can throw that in whenever. But I just.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Kind of the game plan I have is we have Colton was kind enough to make questions literally for everybody, like 3 or 4 per person. So we'll start with Tucker with some of the campaign specific ones, and then we'll kind of go around in like with the PCs in order of Discord with questions that Colton's provided, and then we'll probably end each round with kind of a generic out to everybody sort of question, like the ones I had with like for all DMs sort of thing.
Right.
And then we'll kind of keep looping through that to get through as many or whatever, and we'll kind of just play it by ear on how it goes. So
like
sort of structured, but not super formal is kind of the vibe I'm going for.
Gotcha. So like it's like a round of questions and then a brief round of everybody answer this, and then we go back into another round of whatever.
Yeah, more or less. Does that sound fair to everybody? You got something, Evan?
Yeah. Before we get started, I'm not sure if this will come up in a question or not. And it's not fully done, but the groundwork has been laid. Here is the world map of Valaris.
Wow. So the west continent is Aralas, where we're at, right? No, that's where we came from.
Yes, and that's where we'll be heading in the first session.
Oh, and then we got Western Yukon right here, bro.
Yeah.
Where'd you post it out?
It is in the chat log in the DM Player Secrets voice chat.
It's and then we got Missa Pandaria down at the bottom.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's stupid.
Looks awesome.
That's
though.
cool, dude.
Yeah, it's still a little bare bones right now, but that's roughly what the world map looks like.
Dude, that's where you've beat me. I've only expanded on one continent. I haven't zoomed out from the continent I've been on for the last 7 years.
Because like the campaign has been focused on the western region of a continent, and not even the entire continent itself. And we're planning on going to Aralas, so it was necessary.
No, I get it.
All
Colton,
right.
is your mic backwards?
Is it just because I'm not? Hold on.
I don't know. I hear
Does
you
that
fine.
sound any better?
I think you're like I can hear you. I think you're just quieter. Like to me, you're just quieter than everybody else, and I have your Discord like maxed out on volume.
Ooh.
Oh, let me check.
Try putting the mic in your mouth, Colt.
Do I sound louder when I get closer to the mic?
Yes.
Not really. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you
Madness.
sound crisper.
Okay, hold on.
I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be. I can still hear you.
Turn up your gain.
Yeah, you got to get more gains.
I knew it, dude.
Gotta get them
I had my protein
gains.
shake this morning.
Take that protein shot.
Okay, I don't want to turn it too
Steroids.
much because it's up pretty
Yeah,
good.
seriously.
Gotta get them really.
Okay. While Colton's playing with that, Tucker, Colton had this question, and I kind of alluded to it whenever I had dropped the original kind of like filling, but it seemed like Vecna was going to be a smaller story arc in the beginning. With hindsight of how the campaign ended, Colton was wondering if Aslan hadn't picked up the eye, how would you have introduced the Vecna plot?
Yes.
So there were a couple of things that were always going to be a catalyst to start that arc, such as the way that Raven was introduced was that she knew that Lord Thaddeus and Pythondrius had one of the Vecna items and was actively searching. So if the Vecna item had not even been used, there still would have been a race for someone to attain it. So
Katie was the key.
more or less. I'd call it more a catalyst to at least start the story. But basically, if no one put in the eye, it would be a more or less oddball from Halo 3. Like you're just trying to keep that item away from prying hands.
I see.
That's fair.
And, in the alternative universe, Lysandra puts the eye in.
That bitch.
That
But-
hard.
We'll never know.
Yeah, because if you listen to that session, Lysandra was very, very interested in it, but because we had our hands on it, she kind of caved.
Yeah.
Not overly happy.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that
I'm not saying,
kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that she should have had acid dumped on her, but
She's fun fact about Lysandra. She is based off of a character from the Way of Kings or the Stormlight Archive. Almost entirely personality based. It's really fun to RP such a wench of a woman.
Which moment. When you say the stick couldn't be further up her ass, it's true. You would not have been able to pull it out.
Yeah, dude. Even Jim Henson would be impressed.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Oh no.
All right, Don.
All right, Alyssa, this next one is directed to you in relation to Adrona. Because of your smaller size and innate ability to fly, do you enjoy being the team member who usually scouts ahead?
Yeah, no, I do like being able to do that. Just because I think it's easier to have someone smaller that can like fly around and fly ahead to be able to kind of be sneaky with investigating things.
Perfect.
Wow.
Well, Colton, I didn't create one specifically for you, so
That's
we'll
fine.
kind of circle back.
That's
There's a handful of the all DM ones that I know that you'll be thoroughly involved in.
Sure.
Okay,
Literally.
thoroughly.
Prepare yourself.
Thoroughly. All right, Clarissa, in relation to Dahlia, was it difficult at first to RP Dahlia when establishing her character? Colton was wondering if you had challenges making certain distinctions so that we wouldn't just get a Lotus 2.0.
Yes and no. Because that was something that I was struggling with as well, is that I didn't want a Lotus 2.0. I did want the sibling of Lotus, and luckily, because Tucker, our DM, worked with me on Dahlia's backstory and how she just like became who she was, like the trials and tribulations that she went through with her with being transgender, and how she got there and how Lotus helped her. That made it easier for me to distinguish the two between them. I think ultimately what made RPing her in the beginning so difficult was being so fresh from the Lotus mindset. I had to, like, because Dahlia was still a character that I had no idea who she was yet at that time, how she acted, or
You gotta take it for a test drive.
yeah, it took a little bit for me to like test drive her out before I really figured out who she was and how to play her. But ultimately, like, there was some trials and tribulations between separating the two, but not a whole lot.
Interesting. Yeah, I was excited to hear your thoughts on that, because I personally haven't done that before, but I have heard stories like online, like people like, oh yeah, I'm the younger brother of the character who just died, and I just happen to be the same class and everything.
Right. There were times where, like, and I think, like, there are, because I think what made it easier was the relationship between Dahlia and Lotus, because they were really close, and so like I still get to do some like Lotus.
Because you're
Things.
siblings.
Like how, like, every now and then when we go into like a dungeon or something, and Lotus is like, "Let's go," and he's just like fist pumping with his axe. Dahlia does the same thing.
Well,
Okay.
and that's actually like a distinction that I'll make here, that I think Lotus and Dahlia are two entirely different characters in
Oh,
the
for
sense that, like, in the way that their like cadence is, like, Dahlia is much more headstrong and like hot-headed, as to where Lotus was more collected but more excitable.
That's true. And I wasn't trying to suggest that I thought they were
Right.
the same. I just know, yeah.
Like, although I do think that, you know, they're played relatively similarly, I think the way that Larissa is able to RP them, like, respectively, I think made for a pretty cool, like, back and forth, and also gave Lotus as an NPC for some interesting conflict,
Mhm.
Yeah.
while still sticking to character.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Plus the whole love interest thing with Kane for a little bit there at the beginning. So
Yeah, that it was like for like maybe 2 sessions, but there was like this like Dahlia making Kane like, you know, a
Uncomfortable.
little like schoolboy boyish and like
Oh, she still finds great joy in making you as uncomfortable as
I'm
possible.
Many people say that about me in real life.
okay, Aslan. For context, for anybody or for Julia, Aslan is a homebrew bard class where he does all of his stuff through cooking. So this question is, now that you've spent some time with the homebrew bard subclass, what are your thoughts?
It's honestly a pretty good class. I mean, when I set out to create it, I had a pretty clear vision in mind. And honestly, translation from like pen to paper, basically, as they say, I mean, it pretty much felt synonymous to me. Honestly, I felt like there really wasn't many tweaks that needed to be made. I think one of the only few tweaks we made is how long some of the cooking buffs lasted. But really, outside of that, it felt like a pretty well-rounded class, all in all.
Yeah, I'd have to strongly agree. And as someone who like would call themselves a bard in real life, like I also love to cook, and I've never once ever thought about taking like the arts of cooking and making that like into your bardic stuff. So that's really cool. And so it's also really
Yeah.
cool to hear that you didn't make much changes, which means like you had a solid like subclass design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we talked for, it was like a good 2-hour conversation of like what he had created up until that point, what we could do for balance, and but yeah, it's really hard to make a subclass or even a class entirely, and a lot of respect goes to you, because I think, although it may not be the most powerful class or subclass out there, I definitely think it's one of the most thematic, and I think it really formed Aslan as a character.
Well, there's a spectrum, right? A spectrum of like, you know, there's some subclasses that are a little poopy, and then there's like ones that are like
Poopy?
the warlock. What's it called? The subclass for warlock.
Eldritch Knight? No.
No,
that's Paladin.
The Fiend?
Pact of the Blade.
No, I think it's a Pact of the Blade. Anyways, all I'm saying is like, it. From what it sounds like, would you put it at like a middle of the road?
As for a lot of my other, as for like a lot of my other homebrews I've made subclass wise, I'd put it a little higher than middle of the road. I'd give it like a high B tier. If we
Yeah, I
were
was gonna
doing
say,
a
I think the
tier list.
utility of it is really, really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
It really just depends on the group that you're like traveling with, because like the kit that you get for that specific college is I mean, it's just AoE buffs and cleansing and healing. So like
Yeah.
in a group full of barbarians, that's pretty damn useful.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea set out with it. But yeah, and on a side note, I mean, Aslan the cook will still be around, so.
Oh yeah, that's a question we'll get
Hell
to
yeah.
a little bit later, because I'm excited to see
Okay.
if everybody's sticking with their characters or if anybody's trying out the new class. So
Oh,
All right, Tar. The emotional journey that Tar has been on has taken a toll. How did it feel to have the transition from metal to flesh happen in the organic way?
Oh gods,
Because you were so like team background, and then it just changed organically, and it was so beautiful. I just want to hear about it.
oh gods, it really surprised me when Aslan suggested that he could repair me that way. And then I guess it kind of struggled with Tar just trying to decide if she'd be ready to be back to being that person that she lost so long ago. I think it was really beautiful, and I really have to give props to Elder for just suggesting that, but then also give props to Tucker to have fuckface Vecna to be like, I can help with that.
Right. I almost forgot about that.
So it was really cool. Tar's entire journey from that to just who she's started to become has been, I don't know, really beautiful, and the way that the group has been there for her. I just say borderline, it's been remarkable.
For sure, 100%.
Peanut Gallery comment on this one that that shift in character I don't think was unfounded, but your perspective on rather than repairing your body to what it once was more of a spiritual like rebuilding, not necessarily like returning to flesh. It was more just returning to your past life, and the way that you viewed that put the entire situation into a different light. Because I was fully expecting when it was first suggested by
That you'd be like,
Aslan that you would like be full on like not murder hobo, but like there would be some like heavy tension in the group for it being done, and then that's just not how it played out. So
yeah,
with how unexpected it was, it almost made the transition seem more seamless. That
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sorry.
That was it.
I'd like to add real quick as like kind of being the catalyst that brought around the change. To Aslan's mind, it really wasn't going back to your past life. It's moving on with your life.
Yeah.
It's like instead of being muddled down of like who I am now, just become who you want to be.
I concur, because I think it came at the most perfect time for Tar. Her armor and her tower was like the only thing that she really had left of her identity to her clan and her past warrior life. But then when the tower got basically destroyed, she lost that aspect. And then when her armor just got devastated and everyone saw for what she really was, that she was so vulnerable and so open that she was malleable for change.
Yeah.
Like you were exposed, and because so you could be molded.
Exactly, because without that,
wow,
I don't know where Tar would have been emotionally if that other change just didn't come with it. Because that was like kind of like the last strings of her subconscious identity to herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think
you almost had an ego death.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that was I think it was all incredibly well played.
Yeah, if I recall, it was like the session or two priors where she changed her last name to Phoenix, so she had already rebranded herself right before that session.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. So like you kind of like your body made that decision before like you even emotionally came around to it. That's wild.
That's kind of why I brought it up, is because you made that change. If you didn't change your last name, I don't think I would have really pushed the idea.
Dude, that's the dominoes right there.
Because I was like, well, she mentally was ready enough to change her name. I wonder if she's mentally ready to be herself again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. DnD, everybody.
Round of applause.
Okay, so this one we're gonna go around the table. this is who are you playing for the Rise of Vecna? So we'll go ahead and start up at the top with Alyssa.
I know we haven't talked much about it, but whatever you say here is canon, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't. With her, I'm strongly thinking of changing from the cleric that I am. Still trying to figure out what, but I'm almost leaning towards possibly changing her to a ranger.
Oh,
Um,
Rangers are always nice.
Ooh.
I've never played one, so it will be new for me. But that's honestly what I was thinking of doing, but still trying to figure out for sure if
Well,
that's what I want to
Rangers
do.
are dope.
Well, like, based on what you had said earlier about Adrona, was that, like, you like the idea that because you can fly and that you're smaller about scouting and, you know, really leaning into that as a character, that fits a ranger pretty damn well.
Yeah.
There's so many good ranger subclasses. I love the Drake Warden.
I haven't looked at that yet, but I've heard about it.
You do that plus, and then you add just 3 levels of fighter to get the Chevalier subclass. It's pretty fucking devastating.
Wow. So would I be next?
Yes.
I, much to everyone's surprise, I will 100% be showing up in my camo pants, combat boots, and wife beater tucked in. I will definitely be playing. I will continue to play Colonel Kane Maxwell until he dies.
Fuck yes. Which would be a horrible, horrible day if that ever happened.
Yeah, dude.
Right? What would we do without the Colonel?
'Cause-
I know, right?
And don't get me wrong, dude. This new Mana Weaver class that Tucker's made, like, it's excited me to like want to try and like test out one of the subclasses, but that excitement of the novelty is just doesn't trump what Colonel Kane's biceps can do. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
his biceps
I
are a national fucking legend. All right.
I really hope this like doesn't like offend you because I don't know where you came up with the idea for Colonel Kane Maxwell, but like I can't help it. Every time in my head, I envision Colonel Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
It's a similar aesthetic, but
I
maybe
think
not
of-
quite.
Well,
I think
because
it's-
of that, he's one of my favorites.
Every time I see him play Colonel, I think of Duke Nukem.
Yeah, that's also like fits the aesthetic, you know. So yeah, that's it for me.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm
And
all
what?
out of bubblegum.
I came here to change my mask and kick ass, and I can't find my mask. Oh, drop it, Penelope.
Oh man. Oh,
Tug's
other-
Baugh has made Penelope so legendary.
what are
Because it was Nay for the first fucking 3 sessions.
Nay.
one of the things I gave Colton for his birthday was minis for all of his characters, but I made a point of also doing Penelope, so he has a little ram.
Yes.
Oh.
I have a little ram mini. It's like literally small. It's
Have
Show
you
it,
not-
Bill. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, I'll go grab it.
Showcase.
I felt so bad because I got the mini for Inglis, and within like the first 2 hours of touching him, I fucking broke him.
Or
You
at
know
least a
what?
crossbow.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
broke
like
the
that
crossbow.
sounds like Inglis's luck.
Well, it's like he's still intact, but one of the arm pieces of the crossbow just like I was just touching it, I'm all and it just snapped off. I'm all. Of course, that would happen to me.
At least it wasn't your, it's
The
face.
head.
Right.
All right.
The face.
How often?
That would have been more English fashion.
I just loved how often something kept happening to your face, and it was just the best fucking joke.
Goodness.
Dope. Hold on, let me full screen your
I
ass.
can't get it to focus.
Let me see. Right there. Oh yeah, that's Penelope. 100%.
Oh, cute.
That's so dope.
Curly horns and everything.
It will always be one of my personal favorite parts of my campaign when when Tar speaks with Penelope.
Oh my god.
It's like the
Most
the
stoic.
mountain goat with the fullest amount of stoic pride and like confidence as Kane as a hero.
He talks like fucking Batman.
Yeah.
I feel like Penelope deserves a mask and like a cute bow.
Oh.
Oh shit. Okay. Hold on,
Or like cape that's been attached to like the horns or something.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah. So
God,
he looks like
yes.
fucking Bat Dog, but Bat Sheep.
Dude, yes, yes. A mask will be coming soon to season 2 of
Private Penelope.
I think Penelope's earned it.
Wow.
Even like war paint or something, that would be cool.
Oh, war paint with the horns in the face would be fucking tough. Kind of like the dogs in Ferelden.
Yes, the fucking Mabari war dogs. Oh.
All
Dahlia,
right.
You're up.
Yep.
Sorry. Oh,
Clarissa, are you continuing Dahlia, or are you running something new?
Okay, so it's my turn.
Yes.
No, I am going to continue to run Dahlia.
of course. If you did, if
Yeah,
you switched,
it-
dude, I'd be pissed.
If things had ended differently at the with Fall of Pride, then Dahlia might have retired. But where things have progressed with this story, and we've got Vecna going on, Lotus is still out there, and still kicking. Like, she's 100% still in this fight. She's not going anywhere. So
Cool.
she'll either complete the Rise of Vecna or she'll die trying.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
For me, much like Kane Maxwell, Gladdick will be played until he either becomes king or dies.
Or dies trying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gladdick
Well,
is still kind of
dies-
not really fully committed to the whole concept of being the
Yeah.
king.
Yeah, dies about moseying about. How about that?
But I've still got a handful of items to craft for the party with Earthforgian steel. There's still the whole royal bloodline side plot that we keep trickling in every like 4 sessions. So there's a lot of depth there, and I'm kind of partial to him since it's the second character I created. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Could I interject with a question?
sure.
Okay, so Earthforgian steel is not necessarily a material that has been researched very much. It's very much a material that's like designed and like expertly crafted by your people and your people alone. The only way to acquire Earthforgian steel items is from the Dwarven Kingdom in Aralas. And now, with all these mana outbreaks that are going to be happening in this second season, I'm wondering if Gladdick is going to try to fuse the two together.
Oh.
Maybe not necessarily in the form of a multi-class, but like fusing some of what you've learned into your craft.
I think that's what we were pushing for. So on the last item that I was making or designing, we had the whole thing where he tapped into mana very briefly.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Yes, this has been hinted at already.
yeah, so Gladdick isn't opposed. Obviously, Gladdick, because Earthforgian steel is just an asteroid that he's refined. So there's not much left in general. So unless another asteroid we encounter, he's only got a handful left. So he's going to try and imbue whatever he can to make the last ones the best ones, essentially. So we'd
That's
already,
fair.
I literally just got done editing the last episode where we were talking about Aslan. I was building the shield for Aslan before he got the Eye of Vecna, which the hint I got was that he needed something else plus the Earth Forgian steel to make it work like it's supposed to, because it's supposed to be a mirror shield, so it's supposed to reflect things back. So the mana might be the key to that there.
Are
So
you trying to suggest he hinted at that way back then? Is that what's happening right now?
probably saying mana was the main concept for this campaign the entire time, and we just didn't get to it till like session 10.
That's wild.
So yes, Claddick is definitely interested. Whether or not I'm going to have enough metal to really get into the weeds of that is to be determined, because I think the last time we discussed, I only had enough for like 3 more items. So
I thought it was really cool how lucky it was that you and me both came up with blacksmiths for this campaign. I love that.
I know.
We haven't done enough blacksmithing, that's for sure.
well, we kind of got sidetracked with the whole Vecna bullshit for a little bit there. So.
It is true, though. We're like, our craft, and Aslan's like, my eye!
As it's literally taking over his body, like we had a whole intervention and everything.
Just slowly putting the heated sword in the water and looking at him. Oh no.
Shit, we literally tried to fucking puncture it out for an entire session, I think, too.
Oh god, I think so, yeah.
But speaking of Aslan, Evan, are you continuing Aslan, or are you divvying into the Mana Weaver?
Let's hear it.
I'm continuing Aslan, but I'm becoming a
Hey.
Mana Weaver.
Oh!
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, so you're pivoting.
Pretty much a full Mana Weaver, except for I'm keeping 2 levels of Bard. He's still going to be a cook, but he's definitely had. There's been a lot of background RP shenanigans that have gone on that the party does not know about yet.
Oh, what? You're getting private dances in the back?
Basically, yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that the party, I guess Aslan will have to go through, and the party will have to go figure out.
Wow.
In
that's
some
cool,
ways,
dude.
it makes sense, right? Because like losing the Eye of Vecna,
Yeah.
technically you dropped like half of your spell list instantly by losing that item.
Yeah, and then there was also the hint that there was a somewhat, maybe not greedy, but I don't know, some kind of influence, because Aslan himself wanted to keep the eye and tried to grab it, which in turn ripped off his left arm.
And we'll get into the weeds of this a little bit, but it's already been revealed to the party that Vecna was like a grand master of manipulating mana, and he inhabited Aslan's body for, I guess over the course of about a month in that time frame. So like there's going to be some aspects of Aslan that's going to feel more natural when manipulating mana than others.
Yeah, it's like once you go Vecna, you don't go Vecna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
basically.
jump in the Lazarus pit.
Right.
Yeah, I was to give a little hint, I was going, even though Aslan's Aslan's form kind of reversed, I still was gonna try to keep like where there looks like some scarred slits under his eyes where the other eyes used to be, as
Gotcha.
things went back to normal, but not how they used to be.
Right. The new normal.
New.
This new, but same, but different.
But different.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that you're still playing Aslan, because
Yes, Aslan will still be around, but he will definitely have his things going on in his head.
Cool.
Well, that's not
Are you wanting to reveal what kind of Mana Weaver you're going to be?
No,
Or you wanna keep
surprise.
that a
I want
secret?
to leave it a surprise.
I'm sure you can guess. I mean, what have I been playing the whole time? A healer, so.
Ooh, that's
I'm
not
picking up
actually, to be
the,
honest, Evan, that was not the guess I was gonna have. So
Me neither.
I'm picking up Life Warden, so I'll basically be a life.
that's the one I
cleric.
would have ran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Still AOE heals, basically.
Wow.
All right, and our last one present, Dre, you continue to run Tar. I feel like it's a yes, but
Oh, poor Tar. She will sorely not be missed.
Okay,
She
you
will still be with
motherfucker.
us.
Don't you do that reality TV bullshit to me.
I love
Find out
Tar.
next time if Tar's still around.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. No, I love Tar. I felt like she was like the adorable blacksmith mascot for the group for a time being. And I just couldn't. I was like, her story is not even done yet, and she's just in the middle of cocooning still.
Yeah,
So
for sure. 100%.
I'm 100% playing Tar.
Cool. Good to hear.
All right, before we start up back at the top with DM Tucker, Julia had some questions, so I wanted to make sure I got some. But did you have something, Tucker?
Yes, there is going to be one other player that's playing a Mana Weaver.
Ooh.
I
Well,
already know this.
is it Katie?
Yeah. No, it is not.
Oh.
Wait, what? I thought it was Katie.
No, it's not Katie.
Okay, everybody, I don't know who this is.
She has the most amount of knowledge about mana in the entire group, but no, she is staying to wizard.
Her College of Illusions or whatever.
Yes. And Nick will be multi-classing into
Oh,
Mana
okay.
Weaver.
I think he had mentioned he was
Oh!
considering multi-classing into it, so.
Yes, yeah, he's still going to be keeping rogue for the most part, but he wants to delve into Mana Weaver as well.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, Julia, what you got?
Oh, well, the first one I had was story derailment. Seems to be inevitable in every campaign that I've played, including these ones, which has been wonderful, mind you. How has it changed how you DM a game or a certain party?
Is this directed towards all DMs or?
Yes.
So I think we'll go around the table with our DM. So we'll start at the top with
Everyone
Colton.
here has DM'd.
Well-
except for Adrona.
But yeah, we'll start with you, Colton.
Okay, so for me, the way that I feel about it, so sometimes when the party tries to like go off the rails, sometimes they go off the rails with such velocity. No matter what kind of like redirection I apply to it, it still ends up in a place that I don't like necessarily expect. But what I have learned over the years is with like my improvisational skills is to like, they tell me they want to do this and I'm like, okay, but I kind of like redirect it this way. It's like, okay, so this is what happens, and it does happen, and then you can kind of like still entertain going off track, but it doesn't necessarily, you can choose to put it back on track or not, but like you can sort of limit the amount it goes off the rails.
Clarissa, are you ready? Or you want to have Tucker go first?
Go ahead and have Tucker go.
Okay, so at least the way that I approach DMing, I have like chapters or checkpoints in a story that no matter what happens, no matter what the players decide, an event will happen. And of course, those events can be altered depending on the player's actions, but if they decide to go off and go somewhere else, these events are still going to happen. But ultimately, your players tell the story. You are just guiding them on the path. And up to a certain point there has to be some kind of direction, like with what Colton was saying. Like, you can redirect and kind of not railroad them, but to point them in a direction that helps continue the plot forward. But ultimately, your players are the people that tell the story. I will be right back. I gotta put my kids to bed.
Gotcha. All right. Clarissa, are you ready?
Yes. So derailment is like 100% inevitable. It is going to happen, whether you want it or not, every time. Especially with this party. I don't struggle too much with derailment just because of the way that I DM. I think, especially the way that I DM Into the Rift.
Do you plan on not being on the track in the first place?
I plan on nothing in general. in the first place. I think the times that it has made it difficult is when I was running like Snowdown or Curse of Strahd, because those were more like structured games. Those had a beginning and an end plot and a middle and everything else in between. It had things that you needed to do to progress like through the game. And there were certain characters, I'm not going to name names, Trey, that really derailed things hard. But for things like Curse of Strahd, like some things that like Dre did were a derailment, but at the same time I was able to work with it and incorporate it into the story of the game in general. In things like Into the Rift, I really don't worry too much about derailment, because like I did in the beginning, and I always tried to plan ahead for that, and then I switched really quickly. I switched the way that I DM'd Into the Rift. I went more with like I'm just gonna build the world, and I'm going to play with you guys. Like, you tell me what you want to do. There are a lot of things that like Tucker said, like if it's canon to the story, it's going to happen regardless. Whether your characters are there or not, it's going to happen regardless.
Right.
But for the most part, I just build the worlds that we're going to and kind of have a structure of what you could encounter or what you will encounter if you do this or do that. But for the most part, I let you guys build the story, and I play with you. I like everything that you guys do. I am trying to stay like right on the edge of my seat, on my tippy toes, creating it as we go along. There has been a few times where it has been difficult, but I think as long as you have an imagination and are really good at thinking on your toes and just coming up with things on the fly, even if it takes you a second, even if it has to be a thing where it's like your party's like, I'm doing this, and you're like, okay, shit, let's take a break right here for 10-15 minutes while I think. Like, as long as you can work with it and spin it into the story and like just make it canon, then you can do anything. You can make anything happen, and derailments don't necessarily matter. I think.
Yeah.
And all in all, when it comes to DMing a D&D campaign, expect the derailments, because you want your players engaging in the story. Derailments mean that they are engaging in the game. So I don't take it as a bad thing. I take derailments as a good and fun thing, especially for me, because that's when it really gives me the opportunity as the DM to play with you guys.
I like that. That's a cool response, Clarissa.
Yeah. For me, I spend a lot of time prepping beforehand. As you saw when I ran Pokemon for you a couple weeks ago, I'll have an 8 to 9 page Word document of all the details, because my approach is, if I know everything about the world and what's going on, when you do that derailment, I know how it impacts things for like the next 2 sessions already, sort of. So like, it's not really a derailment, it's just kind of like what we've been touching on, is the players are really driving the story. So if the more I know going into a session as far as like my world, what's going on in the story, the easier for me to pivot when those eventually happen. So like, if you decide you don't want to do that, well, maybe that doesn't become my main bad guy anymore. It's now this, or, it's all those types of things, which for me, the deeper I have of the lore and everything associated with my campaign, the easier it is for me to kind of go, okay, well, this is how this NPC would react, because I've well defined who they are and what they do. So I think that's one of the keys. The other one that I do is I kind of use leading questions So whenever we get to an open-ended area, so like if we're in town, instead of just going, what do you do, and just leave it at that, I go, oh, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. So I'm like giving them options that I've already done a lot of prep work for, so that when they go down those ones, they still chose it, but I've already prepped. Oh, if they go to the shops, here's all the things that they can do. Hey, if you want to go buy a fishing rod to go fish here locally in town, these are all the Pokemon you're going to encounter. Like, those are the types of things I prep ahead of time so that I can give you options instead of just going, hey, go do whatever you want. It's, hey, here's the things that commonly happen in this town. Would you like to do any of them, sort of thing? And that's how I approach all of them, Call of Cthulhu especially, where it's, I'm giving you leading questions so like, you know where the information is to go get, and then you pick how you want to approach it. Is it more likely that your character's going to go to the library? Maybe, but I'm also going to give you this option to go to the cafe or go talk with this random person at their funeral house. Like, it's a kind of...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
I think Evan stepped away for a minute. So, Dre,
Yeah.
if you got any comments, and then we'll kind of circle up to our next round of questions.
I don't got any right now as a DM.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, it's either you put a lot of prep work in, or you kind of just... It's a...
Yeah, I don't know. My confidence as a DM overall right now is just not in the best place, so I just don't personally have the best advice.
Gotcha. Do you want to be included in the DM circle questions so that, or would you rather just take a step back on those ones?
I'll just take a step back right now. It's kind of just a topic for me.
Oh no, it makes sense. And you can DM me later if you have any questions, or if we need to update the calendar or anything like that. Just let me know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Tucker's away. Adrena's away.
Yeah.
So
We just need to take a short break.
yeah. Why don't we do that? That'll give
Yeah.
me some time to do the Word doc and go get a drink, because I felt a little compressed, so I didn't pour a drink before we started. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So let's call it 8:40, 8:45.
Sure. Things.
Okay, back up to the top. So Tucker, from Colton, outside of Felix Evermore, who would be your favorite Seven Lion Pride general?
Ooh. Okay.
We got to see some of their personality in some cutscenes here and there, but we didn't get a real good taste of them all. So they all kind of exist in your head right now, and I just was curious.
Honestly, the most fleshed out one is Lysandra Frostmane, and really, you guys didn't really get to explore this all too much. But even had Vecna not been an issue, and even not being in war, I would suspect that the Seven Lion Pride as a nation would have fallen, like, eventually, due to being split 7 ways by people who were inexperienced, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, there would have been like bits and parts of the heads to, consume one another until there was only a few dictating parties. But I think Lysandra Frostmane is probably my favorite. More so because you guys don't know very much about Lysandra as a whole.
But what we've seen from her, dude.
Oh yeah,
what a lovely NPC. Like, as a player, literally fuck her, dude. I like
Royal
seriously. But like outside of the game, chef's fucking kiss, my dude.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like, she's definitely like I'm the only person who matters kind of person. And
like main character syndrome to the max.
And like, honestly,
she doesn't realize she's an NPC, bro.
Honestly, I think that, if you guys were not to interfere at all, that Lysandra would actually make a pretty good monarch.
Yeah.
Are you saying that as like a simp for Lysandra over
not
there?
necessarily. I'm just saying, like, her personality fits the bill.
Sure. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's
And-
fair to say.
But like she's my favorite for other reasons that you guys have not discovered yet. So I will keep those cards to my chest.
Wow.
One thing I would like to say about her is I love her last name, and it's kind of funny because I have a character in my world whose last name is Frostvein, Vein.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I love that. So when you said her name the first time, I was like, I love the vibe.
Like
I'm
the
part of that
naming
vibe.
scheme of it.
It's a great vibe.
It's pretty, like I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's because it like is evocative of like WoW, but like Frostmane is such a strong name. You know?
Hell yeah, it is.
It's powerful.
Agreed.
Yeah, I hope I answered your question there.
Yeah, more or less.
All right, Alyssa, how does it feel to also be playing a fairy alongside Raven? What does Adrona make of Raven's lack of wings?
So for her, it's different being around another fairy, and she is still very intrigued on the fact that Raven doesn't have fully developed wings yet, and is just curious to find out more about Raven and how to maybe see about getting her full wings.
So it's just I'm gonna just press a little bit more. Like, is it like do you see it as something wrong? Like do you know what I'm saying? Like do you like how like I don't know. I guess that there's an assumption that you've never seen in like fairy with this small wings.
So to help you out a little bit here, like from what you've seen from any other fairies that you've grown up around in the Feywild, this is something that you have never seen happen before. Even if like there was like wings that felt underdeveloped, that were like smaller than others, this is like almost as if they didn't grow from childhood. Is kind of what it kind of looks like.
She still got that baby teeth.
Say that Adrona finds it like anything's wrong with her. She just thinks it's a little different and kind of strange. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
That's fair.
Okay, Clarissa. Is Gore a romantic interest or more a playfully flirtatious companionship?
As of right now, a playful, flirtatious friendship.
Okay. All right.
I know everybody ships the two together.
I do. I ship them so hard.
I thought you guys were already fucking, to be honest.
No,
it's not done. I don't think they've even got like the second base.
No,
Dahlia's holding out for Kane.
Oh my god, you shut the fuck up.
Gore has actually been the one that's made the least amount of pushes towards that direction.
No, I know, and that's why when I'm watching from a meta view, I'm like, you motherfucker, you stop it right now, and I'm like looking over there at Gore, dude.
I don't really remember a time that like Dahlia has flirted with Gore.
Okay, so I wouldn't say you have laid it on heavy, but like you definitely
Passively.
You definitely gave her the same treatment like you gave Kane, but like some of it was reciprocated, even if it was just the slightest drip. Because there's something there, I know, and I just had to know the answer to this question. So thanks for entertaining it.
I was gonna say, like, you never know. She might be gunning for you hard.
Oh Christ!
You keep doing those workouts, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you up. I'll give you a workout."
Like
In her
Pressing
lacy
you.
undergarments.
I feel like Kane would be like Goku in a relationship, like totally absent, like because he's just working and beating bad guys all the time. You know what I mean?
See,
I just
but if
think-
Dahlia
I-
sells
I
it as a
just-
workout,
Right.
I just see Goku when he's having sex. He's like, "Hi, I'm Goku."
Oh,
Hi, I'm
Christ.
Goku.
Jesus Christ. Just emoting.
But I can see Dahlia coming up like, not Dahlia.
Gore.
Yeah, Dahlia coming up
Dahlia.
all laced up and then starts bench pressing Kane.
Yeah, guys. We've got to move on to the next question.
Evan, did you make it back? I'll take any silences a no.
He might be out for a second. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Dre. As a
Yes.
player RPing a mute character, which that has its own sort of challenges, what do you think about the process of restoring Tar's vocal cords?
I actually do love it. I think the whole process, I think it's created a really great relationship with her and Aslan. Further than just being comrade in arms. You know, the way that
Right.
he really is like assisting her like a rehab doctor.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, pretty much.
She hasn't heard her own voice in a long time, and I've always seen her as like this cute, silent mascot behind everyone that's always like hyping everyone up. But now she's getting her own voice, and I'm really intrigued to have her start talking. I might need to start learning an accent for her though.
Well, I mean, I would even imagine for a period of time, like even if you get the whole vocal cords thing down, like you have to like basically learn how to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's gonna sound a lot like Anne Frank, I guess.
Oh God, don't go too hard in the Anne Frank direction.
I
man.
see. I was actually gonna recommend, or not recommend, the flavor that I would think is Aslan's been the one as your speech tutor, so that you pick up some of Aslan's speech patterns,
Oh, interesting.
because that's who you're interacting the most with as far as conversationally.
I
Interesting.
have to actually heavily consider that. That is a
That's kind of a
great
cool idea.
concept.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, that is actually really cool. I did not think of that. I'm gonna keep that in my head for a bit. Thank
Okay.
you. That-
Yeah, no,
That's cool.
it's an exciting thing because, like, one of the things I love about it. Sorry, I'm going to go on an anecdote, even though we talked about not going down rabbit holes.
Hey, no,
Uh,
you're the moderator. You never said there's a moderator clause.
Yeah, right.
The moderator can drag us. It's fine.
One of the things I love about our tables in general is some of the topics that we cover aren't like normal things. Like even in just our Q&A here, we talked about transgender, we talked about mute. We've hit on the whole like concept of God in Into the Rift. Like there's some
Right.
very deep talking points and sort of disability stuff that we hit on the table and kind of walk through in our minds on how we would approach it as real people just RPing it, which is really, really cool and interesting because
Yeah.
I don't think you would get that
Yeah.
at most tables. So
I
That's
actually
really
agree.
cool. Yeah, that's 100% what it feels like. It just feels like natural. It doesn't feel like some sort of imposed like narrative. Like it just is happening because it is growing as part of everything else. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah,
No, I agree. I think that's one thing I love about this group is just the deep emotional roleplay that we can have. It's just top notch. Especially with things that we personally haven't experienced. I think in a lot of
exactly.
categories, I think a lot of us do really well finding the empathy and putting ourselves in those shoes, and the role play is just chef's kiss.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're gonna go another DM round the table with this one. What is something you wish you would have approached differently as a DM, and why?
Do you want me to start it off?
If you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So. So because of like how I work, I brought this up in the like a couple weeks ago, and I've since then forgot the term for it. But there's a term for like a type of storytelling style where like instead of having it all planned out, you kind of have things like you know that are going to happen, and then you kind of write the story to get it to that point. I can't remember what it is. Anyways, so in the beginning when I first started DMing, I was new. I was learning how to all work, so I did like a bunch of world building, a lot of prep, and it wasn't all for naught because years down the line I could reuse some concepts that because I initially laid the bricks, they were there. But then eventually I got to the point where I got away from that and I leaned too far over on I'll make it up as I go. And not saying that's bad, but when I was trying to tell the sort of story that I wanted to in the campaign, it got a little muddy. And I feel like in the last year and a half, it was probably like after the first 9 or 10 sessions of Antipathy is when I really found my sweet spot of like how much I needed to prepare and let myself have time to think throughout the week about it, and how much I could actually improv because I know where the story is going to go. I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily getting away from the question originally, but like
No, I think that fits. I guess to give a little bit more.
I just the
texture.
context is like letting myself go so far that like I thought I could just pull it straight out of my ass and it would smell nice, and realized I needed to dial it back, and I could pull things out of my ass, but they'd smell nice like flowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more general than a specific moment, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
For me, it was I liked the direction that it took the campaign. However, I let things go too far off the rails when it came to Thaddeus in the first encounter with the first group. Now, that was me getting a little too far into Thaddeus as a character, like, well, this is a fucking master vampire, he's gonna do what he does, and the party's just gonna have to deal. But not realizing the consequences that could happen, whether, you guys take the treasure, which, was fully within your rights as players to do.
Or someone gets emotionally entangled.
Exactly. I left several doors open that didn't need to be opened. And
Right.
As a DM, I lost complete control of that situation. And I think it ended up making for a good story arc, and it really revved up the second group. But that was the very first TPK I've ever had as a DM, and I feel it was preventable on my part. And not to say that I would have altered the story to keep the party alive, but I do think that there are things that I could have done as a narrator standpoint to at least protect the party from themselves.
Right.
And that's not to mean that I think players should have plot armor, but I do think that players shouldn't die because of poor DM decisions.
Right.
That's fair.
Before we move on, I'm actually going to use one of Colton's questions here, Tucker, because we're already touching on it a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
So specifically, he was asking, how did it feel when the TPK happened, and especially because it was mostly player-driven as far as betrayal goes?
I don't see it as player-driven.
Really?
I don't. I felt that you guys were new to your characters, and you stuck with what your characters believed in, right? And to where we had Nizram, where was going through a huge line of abuse and mental manipulation, and a mental spiral of trying to accomplish her goals, and Lotus following her, for lack of a better term, like a loyal dog, right? And that's not to demean Lotus in any way, but then everyone else just trying to be. We had Silent Shadow, who his never experienced life. We had Big Bright, who was literally just trying to escape from his life to become a person that his family didn't want him to be, and then we had Yezreel, who had ulterior motives the entire time and just had to survive. With all these conflicting points that were never resolved, being put in a situation, like, of course they weren't going to stick together. And this is why I brought up that it was a fault of mine as a DM that I put on such heavy conflict without building any foundation with the team quite yet.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But that being said, I'm not scared to kill players. When we're playing in high-level campaigns, this is something that's going to happen. And a death of a character pushes a story so incredibly far. Like, dealing with grief as an entirely separate being other than yourself, and moving forward and becoming more powerful as a result is super satisfying as a player, in my opinion. So I don't think that the TPK was a bad thing for the campaign, but I do think it could have been better.
The Phoenix Force wouldn't exist without the
Exactly.
ashes of that. So ultimately, I wouldn't want it any other way. But I will say though, it's really interesting to hear your insight on that moment.
Yeah, definitely. I find that interesting too, because it was the first time I've experienced a character dying, and it definitely, like, for the better, it kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I definitely do agree with you, Zaf. Like, when I used to DM and when I get back into DMing at some point, whenever I do boss battles, I always pick someone in my head who is like, who am I going to try to kill just to see if I can, if the story kind of aligns with it. But I only really do that with boss battles.
Well, sure. Like, you can design a boss battle that can, like, challenge your players in a way that, like, say for instance with the Phoenix Force, putting them up against the boss that has any kind of ranged capabilities is going to be a challenge for them, right? But
I mean, Tar's got that in the bag, though.
Sure. I'm just saying, like,
but half the team is melee.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily opposed to, like, trying to, like, put a challenge in, like, providing them with a specific counter, but it's never a part of my mindset to who can I kill in this combat. I don't think you're necessarily wrong in that, but, like, for me, it's like the party is going to eventually run into someone like that eventually, but I'm not going to force it to happen.
No, of course not. Can I interject a question to you, Tuck?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you got around to making that bow yet?
No, I haven't, and I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
No,
it's
not okay. It's not okay. I've been telling you I would be doing it for several weeks now, and I haven't. But
it's okay.
Mana Weaver is why.
Yes, and, like, I don't want to talk about this week as a whole because I was planning on having most everything done by tonight, but I don't want to talk about that today.
Fair enough.
But I apologize. I will make a promise to you that it will be done before the campaign starts.
Well, no worries, and I just appreciate it.
Thank you for being patient with me.
Of course, man.
All right, Clarissa.
All right, yeah. Circling back, Clarissa. The question was, what's one thing that you would wish you had done different as a DM, and why? And if you have several sort of examples that you want to cover, feel free to. It's kind of a little bit more open-ended on this one.
It is, and I do have a really good answer for this one too. So, there are a few things I wish I had done different. Not just with DMing, but even as a player. Because, like, I'm gonna be about 1,000% honest. I have never fully read one of the books. I have only ever like skimmed through to important things that I needed to know.
Sure.
And that goes back to like even being a player like before meeting you guys. Like I went through the character creator book just to create like my characters, and that was about it. And then when it came to like DMing, I based a lot of my knowledge off of watching both you and Tucker and getting a lot of that experience between all of our DMs. And then when I had questions of like, okay, how does this work? How does this mechanic work? Like, what do I do here? What should I do here? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's when I would dive into the books, and especially like the Dungeon Master's Handbook and the monster manuals. Like, all in all, I wish I would have actually taken the time to sit down and read through those before I
Right.
started DMing. Now I have, at this point, I've
Played long
gone.
enough to know how it all works, basically.
Yeah, and like between like the questions that I've had that when I was like setting something up, like oh shit, how does this work? Like between like doing all of that and going through the books that way, it's like I've essentially read it cover to cover.
Right.
But I do 100% wish that that I would have read and actually did some homework before just kind of diving in. However, with the way that I learn things, like I have to do it, and I have to fail and get myself back up before I'll actually learn anything. That's just who I
Right.
am as a
Right.
person. But I think
Trial by
another
fire.
exactly. I think another thing that I wish I would have done as a DM, like from the start, is starting off small.
Yeah.
Because like my first real like, hey guys, I want to DM a game with you was the Pokemon game that I created.
Yeah.
And-
I remember.
Like I had fun with it. Like I
I
had a
did
lot of
too.
fun.
I did too.
It-
It was
it
fun.
It was really rough around the edges, but I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Really
Same.
potent, for sure.
But I think like if I had started off smaller and maybe like practice with a smaller group or even just like practice with my kids first, then maybe that would have gone better. I feel like with Into the Rift, I just kind of got really lucky with that game. Mainly because this was a game that was like, this is all like this entire world, this entire concept, the Outlander, what she does, what she's capable of doing, and why she does it in the first place in general, like all comes from up here. And it really just allows me to use my imagination. That's like one of my ADHD superpowers, is my imagination is constantly going, and I can constantly think of
Yeah.
anything. And
Yeah.
you don't have to give me a whole lot for my imagination to make something from it. You can just give me a word.
Can I interject with a peanut gallery comment?
Yeah.
I don't think Into the Rift was based off of luck.
Yeah.
I don't think that your success was luck. You had built a world that was designed with your DM style in mind, right? You
Mhm.
designed a space to where you're not set into one specific place, one scenario, or one specific story as a whole. And
Yeah.
because of that, because this world that you've created is like pulls to your strengths as a DM, like your improvisational skills are awesome, and because you've led the campaign in this direction so far, it's just proving to be more and more successful because of how you run your game. So in short, I don't think that maybe that wasn't your intended outcome in the beginning, but I don't think that was because of luck.
Thank you.
100%.
I appreciate that. I'm really proud of Into the Rift and what it's come down and what it's become. But yeah, so to answer to go back to the question, again, I do appreciate that. That really that makes me happy. But to answer the question fully, like those are a couple of the main things that I wish I would have done. Was one, my homework,
Right.
and two, like practice. before
Right.
attempting something like such a large scale, especially something that I had been working on since I want to say around 2016, and it's like Pokemon was such a large scale game, and there was a lot of mechanics that hadn't been decided yet. So it's like I wish I would have done a more smaller scale to well round those out before I brought it to the table.
I'll tell you, man. Like I've had way too many like one shots that have just flopped, and the Fall of Pride or this campaign, like when it was first created, was my very first campaign, and I was DMing it live. There was a lot of nerves, and coming back to it so many years in the future. Like I feel like I've come so far as a DM. You kind of need those failures and those shortcomings to push you forward.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. Knocking everything over. Yeah, that's it for me. Go ahead and move on.
So for me, probably one of the ones that's a little bit the opposite of Clarissa is I've used the modules a little bit longer for the paranormal investigations one, and this upcoming session should be the last one using a module, but I think I went one module too many of like sticking to the books instead of writing my own stuff on that one, because I could feel, especially in this last session where it was more constraining of not being able to branch out based off of the players, because there was a set story. And then specifically the thing that kept sticking with me after we closed that session was Clarissa had, or specific Archibald, the playful banter with the detective that had come up. I felt like in hindsight I got a little too like short in responses, and it worked, but it was more I was trying to get the party back on the train that they needed to be on, sort of thing. And it was because of the module itself, because I don't have a whole lot of, I have some flexibility, but like the actual story is only within like a couple days, so there's not a whole lot of leverage there. And then the other one that I had was not taking you up on the one-on-one session when we had the opportunity for Starfinder, just because it was intimidating running a one-on-one sort of thing, because I had already planned out a whole thing for that session, and I just wasn't really ready to commit to it. So there's some potential there that I feel like I missed.
Well,
and if it ever happens again, I'd be happy to do it. But
yeah, well, so I'd always be down. But dude, there's something different when you're running for one person. It like the whole game changes. Like even the way that you present the information and how to get to that point in time has to be different because it's one person.
Yeah.
And it's like, for the lack of a better word, like intimate, but like in a very sort of cerebral kind of way. I don't know.
Right.
It feels more like a cohesive conversation when it's just you and the DM, and like you get that with smaller groups of like 2, 3, or 4 sometimes, but like Colton's absolutely right. It's more of an intimate thing, and although I don't like, for me, like having that be an exclusive experience is like isn't exactly completely fulfilling for me. I do think that it gives you like a whole lot of experience as a DM. And when Colton and I were first learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons, Colton and I would we would both like take turns DMing a mock scenario of how our 2 characters were going to go in this like one-on-one brawl.
Yeah.
We would build the story around it, build 2 characters, and then end it with like a PvP fight.
Yeah, it was great.
All right. And not saying that I'm not aware that it's super intimate. It's more it's a missed opportunity, and like in hindsight, I kind of wish that I had at least tried.
Sure.
But
yeah.
all right, Julie, I think you had a couple more questions as well, so let's fire off one of those.
Yes. The next one I had was what brings you the greatest joy, like during a session or as a DM as a whole? Like, are there any particular moments that you can remember for this, or like maybe it's a general concept? But
Sure. Who goes first?
Why don't you take it?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we've
Sure.
been starting up there.
So for me, like, I like, I have a role play heavy game, and I like, but I like, why I like that though is because like one of the things that brings me the greatest joy is like once a character has become rooted, and like, not only that, but has like grown in emotional, physical, or like any other conceivable sort of way. And when that all accumulates to a pinnacle moment of like, it could be like the action you take before like I guess what I'm saying is like, the most recent example, because I just listened to the Radagast finale of my campaign, where they finally fight the big boss at the end, and there's this like really, really emotional point where like Zafriel dies, and I didn't know that what I was casting on him would kill him, and so like it just got super emotional because for obvious reasons, but like Mox had like used blood magic to make it so like Zafriel could like have basically one last attack before he truly perished, and like it's just like that moment where Zafriel is like I don't know, it's like when the hero is like put forward with the most ultimate sort of like force, and like is triumphant, I like those moments where like it comes from the heart, I guess. And like with the type of group we have, like not every single session gets there, but there are moments that like really are like emotionally like strong, and it like resonates with me deeply, and it's like it's the reason why I like to watch certain like TV series. It's the reason why I like certain video games. Like there's a certain like emotional story that's told, and I love bearing witness to it, and like, letting it happen. I don't know, it's cool. Facilitating it. So that brings me the greatest joy.
All right, what do you got, Clarissa?
I think my greatest joy is setting something up and watching the light fade from my player's eyes. No, not I think ultimately my greatest joy is like creating a scenario and having something just like amazing and beautiful come out of it. Like, for example, I think like one of my greatest moments was the session before last session in Into the Rift, when you guys were trapped in space and floating around with Archimedes running amok with the ship.
Yes.
And the way that entire game played out, between you guys going in through the vents, getting trapped in a different room, almost being suffocated, Evan's character almost getting ejected out of the cargo bay, like all of that, and the way that you guys handled it, and how you brought like Archimedes back around and ultimately brought both Archimedes and the Outlander together, like just that feeling of like, I can't even like put it in words, but it was heavy and emotional.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say just a second ago, man. Like those moments.
That heavy and emotional stuff that happens, because ultimately you guys could have handled it completely differently. I mean, like, you could have handled it completely differently. Like, there were a couple different scenarios that could have happened. You could have pulled Archimedes out of the ship. Like, you could have found him because he was like integrated somewhere. You could have found him and pulled him out, and then at that point, if like you'd handed him over to the Outlander was just gonna rewire him to be his bitch again, or you guys could have destroyed him in general. There were a few different scenarios that could have happened, but the way that everybody like came together and made it happen the way that it did, it was just beautiful and very emotional. And those are the moments that make me the proudest, when it's not like a life or death battle situation, but it's a like life or death heart situation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Good way to put it. I love it. Put that on a t-shirt. You're muted, my friend.
This is a hard question because there's several things that I get a lot of satisfaction out of when DMing a game, and it's completely different than the satisfaction that I get as a player. Although I like both roles relatively equally, the satisfaction that I get as a DM can be summed up to what the players are able to like create in this world that I've already built. The world building and the character building, the relationships built, and the moments that are created because of those efforts is so incredibly satisfying and pulls me in tighter into the story. Is as far as immersion goes, when I see my players like truly interacting and going through like all these trials and tribulations and coming out stronger, like coming out with conflict and like resolving all of these, it brings me so much joy that I can't even express. The D&D is such a huge passion of mine, and to have all these players that I respect at a table able to manipulate and like forge the story I've made into something entirely new and beautiful is just I don't think I will ever get tired of that.
For sure.
Fucking hell yeah, dude.
100%.
Hell fucking yeah.
And just an example of that, dude, it's just like the HQ tower in Urim for the Standing Bear. Like it's things like that. When that happens, it's like when I see everybody interacting with like Malin or whoever, like it just, I don't know, it's nice.
I will say as a side point though, I pride myself on my boss fights. That I feel like that's one of my biggest strengths as a DM is making my boss fights feel so immersive that you're like, it's like you're playing it in a video game, and
right.
being like, and it's not necessarily receiving the praise from the boss fight, but knowing that I put like something that maybe wasn't necessarily super challenging but was interesting and something that no one else has ever seen before, I just get a lot of satisfaction out of.
Yeah, I liked your left field mechanics that you end up throwing into these fights. I liked your boss fights for sure.
So I hope that answered your question.
Oh no.
Oh yes, these have all been awesome answers. I know you can't see my face, but I'm nodding along. Like these are awesome.
And I'm going to answer it basically the same sort of answer for the fourth time, said differently.
Lay it on us, homie.
The way I would describe it is it's the moments whenever the players at the table stop being superficial and feel like the PC. Whenever I can create a scenario, whenever it's not Colton sitting there, it's John, or it's not Clarissa, it's Archibald sitting there, and they're interacting with my world, and you can tell that's who they are in that moment. That's the best part of being a DM.
Dude.
All the other stuff is, I gave it to you, like we're gonna do some combat, but like if I feel that it's Kane Maxwell in front of me or whatever, that's better than anything else, because we hit the heart of it right there.
Yes, 100%, dude. And it's just like yeah, I don't know how else to put it. 100%. Like
also just hearing the one-liners from characters You know,
Yes.
that no one else playing that character would have been able to say so smoothly if it had not come from that specific player.
Right. Wow.
All right, back up at the top. So, speaking of your boss fights and how much you pride them, what boss fight are you most proud of, Tucker?
Silent Shadow.
Oh, yeah, dude, that was such a cool fight, man.
3-phase boss battle. We had Silent Shadow hulking out at the first part, flying down from the ceiling, and swearing on revenge against Jezreel, and then like being completely consumed by hate and self-doubt that he just turns into this hulking abomination, fighting next to the dead manta ray that he's protecting. Like the scene was perfect, the background was perfect, and the boss fight was perfect. And I think out of all the boss fights I've ever done, that was pretty awesome. I also, as a honorable mention, faking you guys out with the self-detonation in the Vecna fight, or the not the Vecna fight, but in the Thaddeus.
Oh yeah,
boss
the
fight
Thaddeus.
at the end.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Oh man, the manta ray in the Silent Shadow fight too was a nice distractive piece. I think that we talked about Aslan and how important that Bard class was to our group. It was super highlighted in that fight because if we didn't have that utility, we probably would have got fucked. Because he could actually see what was happening because he had detect invisibility or whatever spell it was.
Yeah.
That's right.
Silent Shadow could jump through the ethereal plane and Aslan could see it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
This whole time.
Yeah, he's only used it the one fight, but
I mean, hey, at least you had it for that fight. Like,
Yeah.
the ability's there.
Hey, that's what happens when an NPC gets handed over to the DM.
they get
cool
extra
powers.
abilities.
Yeah.
And then when you unlock them, you lose all those abilities again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, just like in a
DM only
fucking video
abilities.
game. Yeah. Fuck.
All right, Alyssa, the last one I've got for you for tonight. Which character does Adrona resonate with the most within the party, in your opinion?
I'm gonna say it's pretty close to being Raven, just because she's another fairy.
I
Um,
wondered that.
but also Kane. I give him a lot of
Okay.
shit, but it's my way of getting along with him and being friends
Sure.
with him.
Yeah.
You have to give Kane shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
I just feel that Adrona is like definitely the sassy one of the group.
Yeah.
it's very sorely needed.
Yeah, and you know, like, I don't know. Kane does try to like set out like a sort of friendly arm gesture to like start some conversation. So like, I appreciate that for my efforts. I mostly resonate with your character.
All right, Clarissa, the last one I've got directed specifically at you is, do you think Lotus is going to have a redemption arc? And if not, how would you like to see his story resolved?
I've been waiting for this one.
Samesies.
A redemption arc, maybe, but I don't. I mean, all in all, I have no idea what Tucker has planned for Lotus.
Sure.
What
But,
I
like,
have.
Yeah, what do you think though?
What I have envisioned is a reunion with like in the end like I said, a redemption. I'm not really sure, but what I'd like to see happen is like in the end is for Lotus and like Nizram to be able to reunite and
Yes.
live happily ever after.
Yes.
Let Dahlia pick up the second flame tongue axe and continue to carry on the legacy of the Crimson Tongue family.
Yes.
So all in like
You want to
But-
you want Lotus to have the sunset treatment?
I do. I very much do.
Dude,
But here comes the talk evil laugh now.
hold on,
Well,
Tucker. Don't share too much because
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm not gonna share anything. It's a follow-up question. You are one of the last of the Flametons. Your legacy lies with you. So, like, is there future plans to expand in your lineage?
Well, shit.
Damn.
Oh, why do you think she keeps winking over at Colonel Kim?
Oh, fucking hell! God
She's like,
damn it!
I'm gonna pregnate you.
I know.
Pregnant
Wow,
King
what
Max.
a world.
So, and that's the thing that like hasn't really been revealed from like Dahlia. Like, even though she's transgender, she still got it down there. She can get somebody.
Pregnant, and it's gonna be Maxwell.
Go
Oh,
be
God.
It's gonna be Waxmel. Gonna butt up those balls all beside them.
We
Boy.
make such beautiful babies. Such beautiful, strong, muscular babies.
Why can't I just see Colonel Maxwell in like a futon, and his big stomach is out, and Penelope
Still has abs.
and well, yes, he still has abs, but Penelope, because it forms a muscle cocoon, but Penelope has their head on his stomach, and it's just like, while like having like
Oh my
flesh
God.
marks.
Shut
He's so
up.
cute. He's
Shut
so
up.
cute.
If it's not Colonel Kane Maxwell, it could be Gore. Like it depends on where that ends up going. But as of right now, like all of like Dahlia's like flirtatious gestures are just simply that. They are just
Yeah.
hormonal flirtatious gestures.
I can accept that.
She
Right.
doesn't actually have like any romantic interest or anything like that currently at this time. So right now to her, it's either they finish this and become the conquering heroes of this game, or the lineage dies with her when she dies.
Wow.
But it's a possibility. Like as long as she survives, it's a possibility.
That's heavy.
All right. I realized now that we're on like the third rotation that you had questions in relation to Gladdick that I totally didn't cycle through. So I'll do one of those now.
You should do a couple.
Yeah.
You need to do at least 3 because we've gone through 3 rounds.
So the first one was, what kind of experience do you think Gladdick will need to go through to feel prepared for his role? So for this one, I think it's a little bit complicated. So it's not so much that Gladdick doesn't feel prepared to rule, it's more a reluctance to accept it. One, he's not the actual primary candidate for it. So there is his cousin is the primary one, and then his father would be before him if the cousin didn't. Now his father's a little bit older, so like it's not ideal for him to take rule. So Gladdick is like third in succession already. It's just the cousin in particular is not. They're like the typical royalty that like get lax in prepping, and the difference is they're cognizant of it and have already admitted that they're not prepared and that they think Gladdick will be a better ruler. So it's one of those, people are already offering it to Gladdick, but he doesn't necessarily want it because he knows it's not his right. And he also
it's more
feels
than just not your right, though. It's more than that, right?
well, the other part is he feels that he provides to the Dwarven Kingdom more through his forge, and that he would serve the people better. That he has a lot of skills that are great for being a leader. It's just, in his eyes currently, he feels like that's not the best way to help his people. So I guess to answer the question, it would be something showing Gladdick that his people would better be served by him being the king than being the premier blacksmith for the Dwarven Kingdom.
Gotcha. Interesting.
That's fair.
The next one, as a player, I've noticed some of your characters tend to be on the diplomatic side of things. Where did this come from, and what do you like most about playing that position? So that's mostly just school and military training. So like I've done almost
Gotcha.
exclusively leadership stuff. I got picked up for an officer position to, be a higher level leader in the military. So like inherently I get hammered with like how to be a good leader, how to like manage organizations, those types of things. So like it's all of we talk about it a lot, right? As most of your characters have some flavoring of who you are as an individual. And the diplomatic characters are that specific aspect of me.
Interesting.
And
That's fair.
I wondered that.
Yeah, so it's specifically what I like about it is just like in real life, if you approach life with like trying to see everybody's point of view and pull it all together, it makes it where one, you can come together because if you understand where someone's coming from, you can find the middle ground that'll make the group work. And it's also conflict resolution. So, if someone else is having a conflict with someone else, if you can bring that sort of approach in, you can help resolve that without coming to fisticuffs, which I know is kind of weird whenever you start looking at D&D because like combat is like kind of an important part of it usually.
Right.
And if you're always trying to solve things diplomatic, which is funny because like I do feel bad sometimes because like I'm always pushing the diplomatic route and I can feel sometimes where like Evan is like heavy
Foaming
breathing
at the
like
mouth.
just let me punch the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But that's why. And I'd say the other part of Gladic in particular that is me is the creative wanting to build things. I don't tap into that one a whole lot because of just life and as adults a lot of jobs don't really let you be creative in general. So getting to design and like think through what weapons and stuff he's going to build next is like something that I wish I had more time to do in real life. So like getting to do it as Gladic is really cool.
It's funny because there's a lot of times that like when we're either when we're playing like our characters or just like you in general, Don, like I can see the military in you, and it honestly like it makes me super glad that you joined like Colton's game, and I got to know you through playing games, and I've gotten to interact with you on somewhat of a personal basis because like having you around gives me a little bit of like a breath of home because my dad was in the Air Force for 20 years. He retired from the Air Force, and I didn't leave Hill Air Force Base until I was 18 years old. I grew up on Hill, so it's like having you around, and like even just like the way that you play your characters, like there's a part of it that is just like I don't know, like the best way I can put it in words is like it just feels like home, yeah, and it's really refreshing.
Wow. Yeah, Don's presence balances the scales of the group.
Yeah.
100%.
I was gonna say I like to try and bring a little bit of direction occasionally, but it is fun. I will say one of my favorite ones is Chaz. Just because that's the part of
the exact opposite, basically.
That's the part of me that I don't tap into it a whole lot because I am very introverted and organized, but I do like doing spur of the moment things, and that's Chaz 100%. So it's all at the spur of the moment. We're just gonna go do it. We'll figure out the logistics later. And
that's funny that you say that. Because in the same campaign, Python is the same thing for me. Python is 100% the opposite like type of person that I am, and role playing that is like oddly like relieving and like satisfying in its own way, just because of how like different I have to play it.
You're a menace when you play fucking Python.
Absolutely, and it's wonderful.
It really is.
okay.
But yeah, I like that, man. That's kind of I was wondering if that's kind of where it was coming from, and you might push the diplomacy button as Mox in most situations, but like, it's making Zafiro at least second guess the type of shit you guys are willing to do to get information. You know, it's having and not just that, but it cascades to other people in the group. And even if diplomacy isn't met, the idea of making it a decision if we are or aren't is created because of Mox. So that's pretty cool.
All right, and the last one for Gladdick is: do you think Gladdick will be keeping an eye on Aslan now after the Vecna situation?
It's a bummer that Evan is not here. I wanted him to be here to hear this answer.
I am recording, so it will go up.
Oh, okay, okay.
In a year.
Yeah, it's on my stream. So you can go back and look at it.
Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to
but the short answer is, I am really excited with the whole Vecna Eye coming out, because I shelved the whole mirror shield thing for Aslan because of that.
Right.
Because it was essentially, I'm not going to hand over some Earth Fortune steel to someone that's about to go evil.
Right.
But I think part of it, he's definitely going to keep an eye, just because it's Gladdick, right? He's tries to be in tune with the party in general, and like kind of touch base with them, and make sure we're all kind of doing okay. So I'm really interested to see how the whole RP of him becoming a Mana Weaver plays out. Because I think that'll kind of have some direct impacts on the party as a whole, but for Gladdick specifically, on whether or not he comes back to working on the item for Aslan or not, or if he continues to shelf it, because if Aslan's still kind of on the same path that he was on,
but now different,
he might still feel that it's not the right time, sort of thing.
Right.
So I think that'll be interesting, because Gladdick was definitely one of the most concerned on that whole process. He was against it from the start. Like, everybody else is like, "Oh, dude, check out the elephant."
No. Dude, I was right with you the whole fucking time, man. I did not like that shit one bit.
Same with Tar. She was kind of freaked out by it.
But fucking Dahlia's like up there fist bumping her fucking flame tongue axe, and Gladdick's like, "Dude, he's changed forever," and like internalizing like, he's never gonna be the same again.
I have a follow-up question for Gladdick here. So Gladdick's political views up until the end of the first campaign kind of seemed like a bit more like neutral and more directed towards peace and harmony, right? But with the events that you saw of the collapse of the Western Eucalian government, has that altered what Gladdick views how a kingdom should be run?
Interesting.
I don't think his view would change, because me as a player, how I view all this, how it played out, is that Frostbane was vying for power the entire time. She wanted sole control. So it's not a failure of democracy as like a joint council. It was, she didn't do things to better them. She was like, the impression I've gotten is she was undermining it the entire time.
Yeah.
So the part that's interesting is, like, we haven't seen what was causing the Drow to act the way they were in that last fight. Everybody recognized it. Gladdick saw it, so he knows that the Drow weren't in their right minds. So, like, he's still thinking there's got to be some way for peace. It's a fuck ton harder now with Frostbane being a sole monarch.
Yeah, and fucking just piecing out with, like, how many people on that little island that's floating in the
right,
sky?
and like the evacuation plan there, that all points to, like, this wasn't her plan A, but it wasn't like it didn't go the way she necessarily wanted it to either. Like,
Right.
she had a contingency plan if this happened, and she didn't care if the rest of the 7 Lion Prides died. So, whether or not the Dwarven Kingdom is ready to fucking interact with her is probably a no. But
Yeah,
as far as
We'll
like
see how
him
that
being
goes.
an emissary trying to help, or like an ambassador trying to help facilitate peace, he's still on that train.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious to see if like the events of how corrupt the government could get by just one rotten head could change your views. So to hear that it hasn't changed at all is honestly a little reassuring.
Yeah, I think the thing he sticks to is it's not just that there was one rotten person, it was the situation that the country was already in. Like, it was already had some instability. So like if the conflict with the Drow wasn't happening, I think they probably could have handled Frostmane.
Especially with Vecna cooking on the back pot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what escalated it a lot. I think Frostmane would have had to play her cards for probably another decade or so to be able to like take power forcibly, if the stuff with the Drow and Vecna wasn't there.
Interesting. Yeah, she takes she takes me as the gal to play the like the long game. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of have to with the government.
A little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
All right, Dre. The last one I've got specifically for you. When
Okay.
comparing Tar and Nizram, which character do you like more and why?
Oh god, that's hard.
I know you've spent more time with Tar, but like you went on one hell of a ride with Nizram, so I was just curious.
I think it's Nezrim. I was
Oh,
really
really?
invested. I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard. They're
Especially
both.
with what's the fucking Girder? What was his name? Not Girder.
Girder.
That's
Surtur.
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 Girder is the Jimmy Neutron's dog. Everybody.
Well, and like, although that Surtur was kind of a huge like manipulative and like abusive douche, like there is a huge amount of backstory that was barely scratched when
Yeah.
when you guys in Silent Shadow came across them, and that was never really explored until the end of this campaign, to where he said he would come at least help in the effort with Lotus and Nizram.
Yeah, I guess it's Nizram. I put a lot of work in her backstory and with Tuck, and I think I really fell in love with her personality and her how she did combat. I really like the wand concept that doesn't get used very often.
Didn't you use like the tentacly spell a lot? What's that? What was it? Not tentacly.
Well, she used
something?
illusions, but it was the mental imprisonment
Oh yeah, that's right.
that fucked you up.
Yeah.
And I was really invested in Lotus and her. I really wanted to see where that would have gone. I don't know. Nizram just felt like a lot of potential that I was very
So much
excited
potential.
for. Yeah, and there was a bit like I felt like the group was getting to her slowly more. But there was a lot of things around like Tuck was saying as well. So yeah, I think it has to be Nizram.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, it's hard to say. I definitely like Tar a lot more because I've seen more growth, but I didn't like all of like the DM secret stuff and all the moments that gave you the experience for Nizram were on deaf ears on my end. So like as a concept, I like I said, I ship Lotus and Nizram super hard.
Yes.
But like that's interesting. I thought you were gonna say Tar, but like I can see why that you picked Nizram.
Yeah. It's hard to pick, but yeah.
Well, sure, yeah.
Because Tar is such a great character too, and I really loved how she's become with the group and like what side of that pulls on me. So I could see that.
Wow. Cool.
Well,
Just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go take a shot.
All right. We'll fill him in on the question whenever he gets back. What is the biggest challenge for running a large table? We'll start with Clarissa. So, kind of specifically, we're talking about like the tables that are over like 5 or 6, because that's where you start to get into where a lot of D&D is not necessarily balanced for that size to begin with, and it's a lot of personalities to manage.
Yes. So the initial question is what makes it hard with a large table?
Oh, okay.
So I think one of the bigger I want to vape so fucking bad.
Yeah, God, yeah, that sounds like a fucking vacuum.
Sorry. I tried to mute, but that's my bad.
That's like a Darth Vader vape right there.
Yeah,
think
big
I'm like-
old one.
I think I'm like what 2, almost 3 weeks, or I'm 3 weeks now without.
And then you just got it blasting in your ear for how long?
And like at this point, it's not even a craving thing. It's just it's all a mind thing now. I'm like, God damn it, I miss my flavor. Okay, so I think one of the biggest struggles is making sure, not only making sure that everybody gets their fair time to do what it is that they want their characters to do or to have like a turn. And I'm not talking about just like in like combat. Like combat makes that easy because you have everybody roll initiative and then everybody's in a line. What I mean by that is like when you're not in combat, when you're interacting with NPCs, when you're interacting with the world, when you're interacting with the plot, like making sure that everybody has their fair chance to say or do something or interact or interject with whatever, and also
Good stuff.
keeping them engaged with it, like keeping everybody engaged with it at the same time. It does
Yeah.
get kind of tough. I know that like at least at Into the Rift, it's been pretty easy to keep everybody like on topic because like sometimes I don't have the full party, but on days
Yeah.
when I do have the full party,
It's like, woof, full table.
I try to incorporate a lot that is going to pique everybody's interest or give everybody a chance to like say something or do something or react about it. And when we have the larger parties going, that's when I'm really more okay with like letting the party split up and go in 2 different directions. But again, like it does get tough there because you have to. It's a timer. Like mentally, I have a timer that's going on. So if I'm like, let's say I'm with party A, and party B went off in a different direction. Like in my head mentally, I'm like, okay, like I know what's down this path that party is going on. When they get to this point, we're gonna stop here. We're gonna go to party B, and make sure all of them, like everybody there, is doing what they're doing. And by doing that, it makes it easier to kind of bridge the 2 back together and bring you guys all back together.
It's
But
like when
that-
you sleep in and you forget about the timer. I do
Yeah.
that sometimes, and
Yeah,
it feels bad, man.
that's definitely one of the harder. I think the harder thing overall is just keeping everybody engaged in the game when it's a large party.
All right.
Yeah,
Colton,
sure.
you want to go next?
What was the question?
What is the most difficult thing about running a large table?
So historically, I haven't ran super big tables. I have at points in time. I think the most I've ever had at one point in time was 7. And the thing is, like, I can still deliver a great like narrative, make things entertaining, introduce, comedic NPCs. But the thing that sucks, and the thing that there are so many people now that are in this D&D group, like you, Julia, and Wyatt, like, and Alyssa, that I like. You're my friends, and I want to play D&D with you, but like, the way that I run my it, because I only have so much water in the well, and when there's 7 people, you gotta split it up 7 ways, and that's I don't have a problem with the splitting up necessarily, but the amount of water that you get doesn't have a lot of time for us to get to a blooming moment, and like before it's like kind of time to cut it off and move to the next person because everybody got their own small amount of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's a challenge of trying to figure out how to still give that sort of emotional impact of growth with their characters when it's a bigger party.
And then we'll finish with Tucker because I don't really have a table that's what I would consider large.
So there are tons of challenges that come with this, and I don't think there's one like de facto like answer or like one specific thing that's harder for others. But at least for me, when you're running a large game, you have to be on top of things as a DM, where it's not necessarily hand-holding, but you need to push. You need to push, and it's hard to not interrupt players, or it's hard not to feel like you're rushing players, but at the same time, it's a necessary thing that has to happen, where you want to give every like person at the table their chance to shine and their chance to have their say and their word in a specific
and their little monologue or whatever.
Yeah, and that's natural for all players, but like, and this is a lot harder to do online. But when it comes to RP scenarios, and I'd consider my game pretty RP heavy, you need to facilitate the RP in a way where if someone isn't talking, you need to target them rather than waiting for them to have the opportunity to speak. And
Interesting.
because it's easy and I'll use myself as an example because I'm very guilty of this. I get very like into the RP, and I can't help but interject in scenarios, and because I know that I do that, I know that other players do as well. And so you have to give the chance for RP for other players that don't speak up as much, because the players that speak a lot more, they're going to find their own situations to where they can speak up in their own time, as to where someone who doesn't speak as much is not going to take that opportunity or know when that's going to come. And but then on initiative, combat can take a very long time, and I'm still experimenting with how we can make that more efficient. But you have to have a mental timer as a DM. Like, if they're having a hard time picking through their spells, like, hit their brain on what they want to do, and like try to push their turn along, and then help them describe what it looks like, so you can go on to the next person. Like I said, I'd say the hardest part about running a big table is finding the balance of not rushing a player but pushing the plot along.
Right. Yeah, because of the limited amount of time.
Yep.
Interesting.
All right, Dre, you had a question.
I do, and it's kind of funny that you guys kind of talked about combat. I was talking to Elder about this the other day, and it was an interesting concept. Have you as DMs ever thought about doing single combat for story purposes? For example, like Mox versus his evil guy. Have you guys ever thought about that before?
You mean like a 1v1?
Yeah, like basically you have minions or something that intervenes, pushing the rest of the party back so that the villain can go after the person of the story. Just the overall that, or just in general as a surprise thing, like the troll somehow hits everyone away and it leaves one person. Have you ever thought about a single 1v1 combat story purposes? If that makes sense.
Personally, you know, I haven't I've never like even thought of that scenario before. Even as common as it is in like media and stuff, I haven't considered it, but like I wouldn't be opposed to it if it thematically and narratively, like if it was like the whole mock situation. Maybe I could have seen like a different timeline where the party was incapacitated to some degree or harried by something, leaving the last 2 rounds of combat between Mox and Kesrick. You know?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
think
I wouldn't be opposed to it especially because of that sort of cinematic appeal to the scene, and especially like, you know, gets a little more dire straits when it's just 1v1. But like, I've never done it, but I wouldn't be opposed.
Okay.
I think for me, like, I like that idea a lot, and I don't know how it could be incorporated because I don't know. I would want that to be something that's not necessarily a surprise, but like being pulled apart in the heat of the moment to have that duel. It like the genuine feeling of like fear and like confidence or like anxiety for the player and the target, but also like I don't know how you'd facilitate that with a larger table into making sure that no one else intervenes.
Right.
I'd say like that's where you do like magical cages, and you can just put a plot device that could basically it sets up for the group to fight the horde of minions coming in because the barrier pushed them all out, you know? Or
so what
you
I'm
have
trying to sorry.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is like I don't know how you'd be able to facilitate that without communication first, because if by chance we get that to pull off, there's a horde of minions coming in, the rest of the group is protecting. So let's say that Dahlia can have this final like face off. If Dahlia ends up dying because of a situation I put Dahlia in, like it causes like a weird kind of like ick. Like I like the idea, but I just like I struggle trying to figure out how it can be worked out in a way that doesn't punish the player.
I think one, you can always have a conversation with the player about
Sure.
their character, but like, would you, for plot purposes, if there's a chance of your character dying, would you be upset? I'm just trying to mold this for you, and the person can give their feelings. And you can also judge it too by before you have that cinematic scene happen mid-boss fight or near the end of the boss fight, you can judge the situation to see if it would be worth it or you just don't do it.
Honestly, in my opinion, if I were to ever do that, the bad guy would die on the hit. Like I would purposefully put them in an advantage position where like there's still possibility of failure, like Nat 1 or something, but like
Sure.
I didn't really consider the perspective Tucker brought up, and yeah, like I don't know. I would even think that the conversation would need to happen like before the boss fight even starts. Like even like ask like, hey, are you down for this sort of situation? And if they're like, yeah, then do it. I wouldn't do this by surprise.
Sure, and that works either way. I just thought it would be an interesting concept to kind of look at.
No, like I said, it's cool.
No, it is. No, I think that would be a really cool, like, it would make the fight more meaningful for the player, for sure. And
Yeah.
like, it would make the fight more memorable. I just think as far as running the game, it just gives me a little anxiety thinking of what could go wrong.
And that's fair, but that also does happen in D&D, right? It's not like it's
Sure.
something you do all the time, regardless.
This is different though. This is like an intentional placement rather than like, oh, sorry, I rolled too much damage and killed you.
Yeah. And that also comes down to the DM deciding to fudge rolls or not, you know? So,
Sure, yeah.
You know, like, so, I mean...
Yeah.
Right, I see where you're coming from with that, and I think that fudging rules is necessary in some points.
Yeah.
But when you are like more or less honor battling one of your players with one of your NPCs, I feel like that is a dishonor to your player.
I guess it could also be looked at that. You know,
Right.
I think maybe it also comes down to judging to which player you can do it to as well.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like someone like me, you know, like I told Cole and I've told and you took this before, is like I'm always open for you guys to mold my character's path as you see fit, because I do like those twists. I like twists and turns, so I'm someone who's very malleable to surprises.
Right.
So you can also judge it off your player, you know.
Right, but I think it's
I'm not-
players is the key point, right? Because if you're
'Cause
giving
it's
this
not just-
one-on-one, there's
Yeah.
however many other players that are sitting for however long this process takes, not doing anything. I felt really guilty when we did the Pokemon one. Everybody got a turn, but each one-on-one Pokemon battle takes like 20 minutes.
Right.
Oh,
So you're
well, yeah. Well, that's why you make us a side thing for the other group, you
right,
know?
but is it as rewarding though? Is the problem?
That's
Am
the-
I
yeah, that's the
going to be
question.
able to make that side thing rewarding?
Well, I see where you're coming at, Trey, and like I do think that this has a place in D&D, especially in storytelling, and you see it in movies all the time of having this, you know, this 1v1 like man versus man, like what
Run
like,
them
who-
bullets.
who
Versus
could-
Star.
yeah, who can come out on top, right? And that is a super cinematic and heroic thing to do,
Yeah.
and there's a time and place for it, and as long as the communication is there and like everyone understands the consequences of what could happen, I do think that there's a place for it, but I also think if overusing that, it could have deleterious effects on your campaign as a whole.
Oh, absolutely.
I think-
It's okay.
I was gonna agree with like Tucker there. I think so as well. Other things I can foresee it doing is also making, like, essentially making combat longer too. Which, like, I'm not necessarily saying that could be a bad thing. It could be, but it's not always going to be a bad thing. I think if I were to do it, the way that I would have it done is, if it was something that was like, okay, like your character is getting that like final say with whoever,
Yeah.
making it possible for the rest of the party to be support characters in one way or another.
Well, and I think the other way of going about this is that this is like, if this is something that was premeditated, have the player that will be involved in this have the discussion with the group, like share with the team like the importance of why you need to do this by yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel that moment of RP
Yeah.
will
that
be
could help too.
more as impactful, if not more, than the combat itself.
You know, I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's, from a player standpoint, it's good for their character to have that discussion with the group, if it is that personal for them. But I think, as from the DM perspective, with what you're saying as well, I think it's, you just kind of choose those. It kind of depends on the player and the DM, and you don't always do it. You know, it's something you do maybe a few times in the entire campaign. It can be just good narrative moments for key moments is all, you know. So there's many aspects that you can kind of go with it.
Right. I'm not like I was saying, I'm not trying to discredit the idea because I
Oh,
do
no,
think
no,
it
no, not
has
at
a
all.
place, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key part is, like we've all kind of hit on, is a surprise sort of situation I don't think is realistic without having some hurt feelings at the table, whether it be the other players or
Right.
the 1v1 combatant, because if their character dies and no one can help them because of the situation they're put in, that doesn't feel good. If you're one of the side characters that, oh, you fought a little level 1 goblin while this person was fighting God, like, that doesn't feel
Fighting
good.
God.
Like, that it's a lot of communication is going to go into making that one moment
Work.
happen. And like we talked about, is the player talking to the rest of the table in RP about why it's so important to them is really the part that I think sells it, because then everybody at the
Yeah.
table's on the same page of why it needs to happen and that it's going
so
to
when
happen.
it does, yeah. So when it does, it's like planned.
I agree. I concur. I'm glad you guys like the idea, though.
All right, Julie, you still had a couple more, didn't you?
Yes. I mean, I feel like a chunk, at least a couple of mine got answered throughout just all of the discussion. Just as kind of to go back to my second question, though, on the flip side, are there any particular pet peeves or particular things that maybe irk you as a DM?
This is a loaded question.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is dangerous.
I'll just give you the most general answer to this that I have. I don't I don't like when players railroad other players.
Yes.
And it's very easy to, like, when you're super enthusiastic and excited about the role and the character that you're playing, to almost try to push the narrative in your favor, right? It's something easy, like, especially when you're first starting, to just, you're getting more comfortable and then you get too comfortable. This is actually something that I used to do quite a bit with my first D&D character, Felix Evermore, and he would, if there was a situation he didn't like, he would just walk away, and the group ended up just following him, and I had to learn that lesson the hard way of, like, man, that is such an itch, because you're basically saying, I don't want to play anymore unless if you do what I want to do.
Right. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
You know, it's like, we're all playing this game as a group, and like I said earlier, the players are really the ones that are telling the story. You're just facilitating, and you're narrating what's going on in the background. So when your players take advantage of that power that you relinquish as the DM, it really irks me.
Interesting. That's an interesting way to put it.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna
Oh.
say, go ahead, Colton.
Yeah. So to keep it fresh, I also agree that's definitely a pet peeve of mine. But to throw out something else, let's see here.
Pad a note, has a list. Oh God.
Shipping characters.
Um,
Just kidding.
I guess this is sort of like the passive version of a murder hobo, where you're not necessarily looking for things to kill, but you're always looking for the red button. So here's the thing. I love presenting red buttons because there are a select few people at the table I know that, like, them as a person wants to press the red button. Okay? However, I don't like when I see, like, red button pressing behavior and there's no red button around. And I'm not saying, like, you know, it's a total game killer, but, like, it's like, I see what you're trying to go for. That's not the direction we're going right now. Stop trying to sort of do the things you're doing.
Right, when there's no red button, like, stop looking for the red button.
Right.
Stop adding states where there are no states.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's one of my pet peeves.
I hope I don't do that to you. I don't think I do, at least.
No.
I know
mean,
I know I'm a red button pusher, but, like, I'm a red button pusher when you put this big red button in front of us and I can't ignore it.
Right.
It literally says, endless, you specifically do not press this.
Literally, what you just said was Evelyn.
Yeah.
Literally, Evelyn,
Dude, 100%.
Endless, please do not touch this.
Red dot.
Endless touched it so much.
Her butt cheeks for red buttons.
But yeah.
So-
that's it for me.
One of my pet peeves that I didn't know was a pet peeve until I experienced it early on in being a DM, and I'm not going to name names, but I think
just speak broadly.
But you know who you are.
you know who you are.
So wild.
This wasn't
think-
intended to call people out.
No, this is a great question.
I think one of my biggest pet peeves, though, is especially where like my game has a NPC that is with you that is like your navigator and decider on a lot of things, and I think it gets really annoying when I'm like, no, this isn't possible. This is what we're doing.
And we're like, nope,
There's a wall
there's
here.
another way.
And that player decides to use an ability to influence the NPC in their narrative. When I've already clearly like made it obvious, like I don't want to do this.
Right.
And then because then it
I
puts
think I
me.
know who you're talking
Yeah, they may or may not
It
play at the
puts-
table anymore.
Yeah, it puts me in that awkward position of like feeling like I have to be the dick and just say no.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think just to add a comment there, you're not a dick by saying no.
Yeah.
When you have already like, even if they try twice, you know, that can be acceptable sometimes. It's like trying to give your players like creative solutions to a problem, right? But when they're continually trying to abuse this like one mechanic that worked one time, like that, like you have the power as the DM to be like, nope, sorry, and it can feel like you're railroading the game a bit, but it's for everyone else's enjoyment.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't mind it when it's like that one time, and like maybe it happens again 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sessions later. But when it was constant, that's when it really became annoying, and that's when like I try, like as a DM, I try not to like fudge rules, but that's when a lot of fudge rules happen. It's like, I'm gonna charm you, and it's like, oh, sorry, nat 20. I didn't even hear you roll dice. They're quiet dice.
I hope Cassandra doesn't do that too often for you,
No,
Clarissa.
we're specifically talking about a certain player. that
Someone else.
is not-
Oh, fair enough. Okay, good. I was like, shit, that sounds like Cassandra a little bit.
No.
We're thinking-
Like,
What Cassandra does is way different than like.
It's
so,
manipulation of
like,
everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I know now.
but like I was saying, it's the I think it's fine, and maybe this is just for my style of DMing. If you're put up against a scenario where like one check just isn't gonna do it, and you need to try something else, then that's fine, right? But like continually trying like a perception check 3 times and then having somebody else try a perception check, it's like,
Yeah, that's fair.
And the dog pile.
yeah, like you
Oh,
need,
you failed. Let me try.
like when there is no means for success, you need to make that clear as a DM. And yes, that is annoying, and like if you don't nip it in the butt, it gets wildly out of control.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you?
So mine, knock on wood, I have been blessed with minimal amount of like actual member at once we got the session going. I think the only real pet peeve
Right.
I have, and I could work around it, but getting the notification the day of or a few hours before the session starts that someone's not making it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
especially if I planned
Yeah.
a session that was really, really focused on said player, and you're having to pivot.
Right.
And I'm like in the middle of
Right.
like actually setting up the physical table and everything, and it's like, fuck, now I've got to re-center where I'm going DM direction for the
Right,
session.
right.
So, and I
That's
know,
fair.
Sure.
yeah, I was gonna say, Dre, I know this is one of the ones you've got because it unfortunately has happened a lot. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry. My job. I'm so tired all the time. So I do apologize for that.
no,
No, in your campaign. Not
Yeah, I was
as a
meet-
player.
campaign. I thought
yeah,
you
I
were
was
talking about
meeting
campaign.
you
I
as a
feel
DM have
bad.
experienced the same thing. Sorry, I was not meeting you
No,
missing any
no.
sessions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you being at work is not the same thing as like, hey, I'm canceling.
It's just
last
bowing
minute.
out.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
life happens. It's just that is one of those where
Oh.
like,
Yeah. My confidence as DM is kind of in shambles right now. I'm gonna probably just take a step back from DMing and then try to come back strong, maybe in a few years.
Maybe like Tar, you're just in your metamorphosis stage.
Exactly.
Well, and
I'm
work-life
perfect
balance
now,
plays
break
into it
that.
too, right? Because if you if work isn't giving you the balance you need, then you can't put in the dedication I know you want to put in. So,
Oh, guys, I appreciate that. Thank you.
but yeah, that's probably my biggest one. I think the only other thing I've had, which what I do as a DM to try and avoid it, is what we've talked about with combat, where like you're trying to move players along. So like at the moment, I've been able to manage it because my table's small, but like knowing what each player's kit is, so that I can give them hints of what they have in their kit to help them pick what they're going to do on their turn.
Right.
Because as a player, I make a point of knowing what I'm going to do on my turn almost immediately after I finish my last turn, and just adjusts as things happen during the round. But like the players that don't even look until it's their fucking turn, it drives me so fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
They don't just like swing their sword. They have to look through like fucking 12 spells and decide what they want to do.
So like, do I want to cast 7th level? I've got 5 of those. Do I want to cast 6th level? I've got 10 of those. Like, dude, how do you not know?
Cast fireball already.
I know, like, in the beginning of DnD, like, I was pretty guilty of that because I was still, like, new. I was like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on here.
That's different. That's different. When you know what's going on, you've been playing your character for 2 years. Like, there's a certain level of like
familiarity.
It's one of those I can tell you zone the fuck out and you didn't pay attention to what anybody else was doing for the the 20 minutes it was before your turn came back around again.
Yeah, but like even with like I can't really like fathom players like that too, and I guess that would like I can relate to that being a pet peeve because like I can't wrap my head around that one because even playing Sakura in Evan's game, that was my first spellcaster I've ever played. Like I don't consider Angelus as a spellcaster because he's a ranger. Yeah, he can do spells.
Well, he's a
cool.
half-caster technically.
But yeah. But Sakura was my first spellcaster that I've ever played, and so every time that my turn was done, I gave fuck all to what you guys were doing. I was going over my character sheet. I was going over my spells. I'm like, what can she fucking do?
Right.
So it's like I can't fathom like just being like, all right, it's your turn. Ah, shit. What do I want to do? Do I want to?
As soon as they do it, I'm like, fuck.
You know what I will say about that though is there's times that you're like, I know what I want to do, but then someone completely railroads you, and it's your turn next. And you're like,
I can relate to this with playing Python specifically, where like I have to be so creative with all of his spells because he has like maybe 1 or 2 offensive things in his entire kit. So like I have to really think of like, oh man, I can't use this because it's not a creature. I can't do this because like, well, they'll be able to see through the illusion, and like like there are so many different like aspects. So like taking a longer turn is one thing, but like to not have your turn prepared at all is another.
Right.
Agreed.
I think the hardest thing that I faced like being a spellcaster was not casting fireball every 5 minutes.
I don't care how big the room is. I said fireball.
Cast fireball.
They're fire resistant, right?
Just me?
Right?
We all rolled up.
It says the Tiefling wizard. You guys aren't resistant? That's a damn shame.
Sucks for you, fireball.
Next round, fireball.
Did you have a pet peeve, Julia? Or was this like a DM thing? I can't remember.
It was kind of meant as a DM question, but I don't know that I've played long enough necessarily to have a
Sure.
But I definitely understand like all of this. Like I can see why all of these situations explained would be like frustrating on both sides of the DM and as a player.
Right.
What about you, Alyssa? Do you have a pet peeve?
Yeah. You've been playing tabletops long enough now. Do you have any pet peeves? It's okay if you don't. Whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
No,
I zone all you guys out.
No, I don't really think I have much of a pet peeve. Then again, I generally keep quiet most of the time, and try to work around that, but that may be just my own pet peeve towards myself.
Think
But-
back to Brian games.
So I have a specific question towards you, kind of along that same vein. Does it bother you when I pick on you in games and like try to force roleplay out of you?
No, it doesn't. Just because it helps me better myself as well
Yeah.
at playing. Because Clarissa had a good point. Before I started playing with you guys, I tried doing a game with a coworker, and he was about the worst DM ever. Like he was really bad at including people. And there was one time where I couldn't make the in-person session, so I was trying to do it over Discord because I had my kid. It was like one of the first times I had my kids over the weekend, and I was like ignored 90% of the time over that one. So that I guess that's another pet. I guess that's a pet peeve, is just being
That's hard.
like there and just not like being able to interact because the DM is just focusing on like certain other people's or just getting distracted or whatever.
Right, and like you hadn't like hadn't built up enough within yourself to just like create your own spotlight. So it's like,
Yeah, see, and I'm still working on that part too.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say you've gotten better as far as like as far as like that kind of stuff goes. But like, it's a shame that the DM didn't have the like insight to notice that, like, because for me as a DM, like if I see like for example, Mock, like Dawn, he's not necessarily like a silent reserved type. I mean, he is reserved, but like, he chooses his moments, and sometimes like I will just call on him so he doesn't have to wait for what he perceives as the moment he can jump in. So
I don't like to interrupt usually.
Yeah, so like I'll meet him halfway, so I build part of the bridge so like it's easier to get across, So
because this is relevant. One of the things that Katie wanted to mention was more advice rather than just a question, and this is what her text says verbatim. Role-playing advice: it's okay to just talk normally and not be fully in character for a couple of sessions. Being around vets is intimidating, but finding your groove shines brighter than trying to fit a mold that you thought you needed to be in.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
But like Colton and I have a habit of like when we have newer players at our tables to try to like push them into RP scenarios to where they can kind of express themselves and get more and more comfortable with RP in general. And no, I was just curious if that was something that bothered you at all.
No, it definitely doesn't, because I have the same thing as Dawn. I don't like interrupting people, so it's really hard for me to usually input randomly when everyone's talking, so I just kind of wait.
Yeah, for sure.
Dre, did you want to step in on the pet peeve piece before we move on to the next one?
Do I have a pet peeve?
Or more specifically, a pet peeve you want to share?
Yeah.
Whenever I join one of her games as Quasi Moo.
Oh, God.
Oh god, I'm trying to forget that already.
Okay, I guess my pet peeve is, as a DM, I guess, when you put something out there and no one responds.
No one latches.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there going, "Hey, Dano." No,
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is, I guess, it's quite a pet peeve.
That's the responsibility players have. Like, the DM goes
Yeah.
halfway by saying, "Hey, here's a hook," and the players go like, "Oh, okay." And if they don't take the hook, they'll say, "How about we take this hook that you didn't realize was there?" You have to make a choice. You know what I'm saying?
No, I have to agree. I guess that would
Kind
be.
of disrespectful in a certain sense. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't take it that far, but.
Well, I mean, it definitely can be because like for me as a DM, I'll plan like ABCs for a couple of different plot lines, but like For Don, I'll use you as an example. You put like a good 7-8 pages of notes per session of things that were planned, and when things don't go according to that plan, I could see how that could be like a little frustrating, or maybe not frustrating, just having to like diverge from the plan that was already made, right? Do you like resonate with this at all, Don?
Actually, I usually the only one I've talked about that I had issues with is more it was the module itself, and that's the Call of Cthulhu one, and that was specifically this last session was the only one that I felt that I had an issue with that. All the other ones, if you guys don't go the specific route, I built enough. So like whenever I say it's like 8 pages, it's 8 pages with diverging plot lines. So if you don't pick one of them, I skip down to page 4 instead of going to page 2, and I go off of that one, sort of thing. So like I typically don't run into too many issues because I'll give you, same like we're talking about, a hook, but I'll give you multiple hooks, and whichever one you pick, that's the one we're going on. There might be background stuff that's happening on the hook that you didn't take that we'll, eventually run into later. I mean, we closed out the thing with the Rejuvenor, or sort of, and the plot hook of the swarm that you guys didn't take is now resurfaced.
Yeah.
Right. So like I can relate to this a little bit, Dre. With let's say for instance the first encounter with the Mother Manta Ray. That was intended to be a super cool boss fight of like a picturesque like astral mana worm that's flying through the air in this cavern, and then it was just taken over by Geos. But like I wasn't like upset, but I'm like, oh man, I put like a good 6 hours into planning that.
It was there. What happened?
When I casted it, I immediately regretted it. I immediately regretted it.
It made for such a, but like you can make the best out of those scenarios, even though the hook wasn't taken. Is the point I'm trying to make here?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, Tucker, I think you touched on this one a little bit towards the tail end of our break, but we had stated that the Rise of Vecna will be more open than the Fall of Pride was. Are you thinking this act is going to be longer than the 17 sessions that we already dedicated to Act 1?
Okay, the Rise of Vecna, we'll call it Season 1. That was a pond. Okay, now we're dipping our toes into the sea.
Yeah.
There is a looming threat, but who knows how long that is going to take. And with mana now being like expelled within the world in outrageous amounts, there are going to be outbreaks everywhere. No matter where you go in the world, there's going to be need for heroes, and heroes are going to start appearing everywhere out of nowhere, and people are going into survival mode and trying to figure out how to live in this new world where you guys are now trying to facilitate that. So although there is a main storyline, it is further down the line. There's so much more discovery that needs to happen with the continents, and with the not only all the side quests that all of the characters have, which are all listed on D&D Beyond specifically, because the first, I want to say, half of this campaign is going to be based on building the backstories that were honestly, for lack of a better term, kind of lacking in the first campaign because of how hard I pushed the storyline. So,
lots of character growth in Season 2. It sounds
lots of character growth and lots of world building is going to be the theme of Season 2.
I feel like we might run into some other egos of adventurers and heroes. I'm
exactly.
excited.
We dabbled a little bit with the Stoneheart Vanguard, how they completely
the
disagreed.
Stoneheart Vanguard. I remember them.
They completely disagreed with the fact that you guys would even allow Aslan to live, holding Vecna within himself, and because of this, and not only because of the fall of the Seven Lion Pride, but the political issues that are going to be arising with the Dwarven Kingdom, and how Arelast is going to react to the fall of Western Utah, when the initial goal was to have, like basically form an allyship with Western Utah, has now failed. So there's a lot of political turmoil, lots of side quests and character building, and I'm just excited to see how this forms. But I can foresee this season being about double the length.
I feel like we're gonna have it. I think they're gonna come after us, that group.
We'll see.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Since we're getting towards the end here, we're going to go ahead and finish up yours, Tucker's, and then we'll open it up to just general questions and kind of go from there. So I've got two more for you. Gladdock's royal background has a lot of implications in the world-building aspect, like politics, culture, prominent figures, etc. Does that intimidate your creative juices?
Absolutely not.
Oh, not even a little bit, dude?
Wait,
No.
wait, repeat that question, I'm sorry.
So the shorthand is Colton was wondering, because of Gladdock's political, cultural, and prominent figure ties, if that intimidates Tucker and his creative juices.
Because it's not like you're just thinking of some podunk town with, 300 people living there. The implications of his backstory are like there's a whole government and city, and there's prominent figures, not even political. I don't know how much you intend to actually create, but honestly, me as a DM, that intimidates me. So I'm shocked to hear that doesn't intimidate you.
No, so I think in any other world that yes, but because this world was built so long ago, and I have now finally gotten the opportunity to build on what I had once created, it is just more exciting to me. And the political tension and playing both sides of the war in the first season really touched an interest of mine when it came to DMing, of what side do we choose, because there's wrong and rights on both sides. And but specifically playing into the Dwarven Kingdom, it's such an integral part of Gladdock's character that I'm excited to see where it goes.
Dude, same.
And that excitement alone is enough for me to push more and more content into it.
Sure.
I will say I have given him a lot of my opinion on Gladdock as jump off points, and his relationship with the Dwarven family and everything. So there is some other stuff that's already there. Where it fits into the actual world is still his discretion,
but dealing with the political trials of finding a new heir to the Dwarven throne, it's not going to be so easy as that, because with the events of season 1, it's not going to be as simple. There are more complications, and one of the biggest military forces on the entire world, it was just collapsed. So there's going to be a huge amount of people that are going to try to capitalize on this fall, where having strong leadership on the throne is going to be paramount to the success of the Dwarven Kingdom, and the amount of implications that places is just exciting.
Cool. Wow.
Hell yeah.
That made me feel excited even more.
All right, Tucker, the last one specifically targeted at you, and Colton made a point of having a note where he doesn't expect to get a full answer on this one, but are Nizram and Lotus going to be undead, lifelong partners?
Yes.
It was revealed in season 1 that Nizram is indeed still alive deep within the abyss. And regardless if you guys go on that path, regardless if you guys go on that path or not, Surtur and Lotus will be working in conjunction to get to the lower sections of the abyss. And
Jesus Christ. Dude, that's so dangerous. A dangerous place.
And depending on what their success is, you guys will never know unless if you go with them.
Ah! Okay.
Hell yeah.
So ominous.
But Lotus has devoted like his life, his afterlife, and his death to Nizram.
Oh,
So I don't know if
so poetic.
I don't know if the abyss would be enough to stop Lotus, but we'll see what
Wow.
happens.
Oh,
Lotus just looks down at it. Is like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this bitch through.
let them be together so they can kiss and embrace.
Yes. But Lotus is. I wouldn't want to even kiss a dragonborn. I feel like they would just try to eat your head, and it'd just be a lot of tongue action on your face.
I feel like it'd be a lot of weird tongue stuff.
It would be. Their tongue would be massive.
Wow. Well, thanks for entertaining that to the degree you did, brother.
Okay. So that's the end of the directed questions that I've got. I know Julia had maybe one or two more, but we're going to open it up to any other lingering questions that weren't sent over to me, and we'll kind of close it out that way. So
Perfect.
Feel free.
My last question, I'm gonna kind of lump the two because they kind of go together. This specifically Into the Rift because that's the one I play the most as of right now. But do you have any tips or tricks for new players as a whole? That would would be something you'd like to share, or for how to better RP into ability checks and such. And that's something I have struggled with as a new player.
The very first character I ever made, his name was Eldrin Rivas, a half-elf bard who looked like Tulio from Road to El Dorado. And it honestly, Eldrin was like just essentially a full projection of myself, if not heightened in a lot of more exaggerated ways, and that's I feel like the initial instinct of most new players is that's kind of like what their first character will be unless they really go off out left field. So what I would recommend is at the start of the session, pick a character that is at the table that since my bias is towards roleplay, I would try to purposefully instigate a situation where maybe we're not fully vulnerable, but being the instigator instead of being the instigatee, or however you say that, is because for me it's when you are the one who is instigating, you kind of have a small amount of control of the conversation you're about to have. Obviously, that can kind of morph once input is received from the person you're role-playing with, but that would be my advice, is to sort of go out on a limb, and that way you can sort of structure the sort of RP conversation you want to have right off the bat, as opposed to being reactive.
Yeah, my advice is kind of along the same line, to where it can feel uncomfortable being at a table, especially with people who have been RPing and playing D&D for quite some time, or tabletop RPGs in general. But it's about putting yourself out there, and it's you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and
For sure.
and that translates very much to RP. If you don't leave yourself open and speak in scenarios where you feel like you could add something to the conversation, then it's going to get harder and harder to put your input into a conversation. And I struggle with this in everyday life, and for whatever reason, it's something I'm so comfortable with in D&D. So I mean, maybe it doesn't have a super healthy effect for my social life, but at the same time, it's something that I really struggled with when we first started. But once you start like when the things are being described to you from the DM, really try to immerse yourself, and it's not. You gotta take yourself out of the headspace where it's not you talking; it is your character talking, and
Yeah.
your opinion is just as valid as anyone else's at the table, and the more you let that show, the more you're going to get out of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think like one thing that helps me is like when I think about my character, I always just kind of think of what would she do when she's in the room by herself, and that usually kind of helps me get into the mindset of my character.
That's a good idea.
Because you're not trying to think of like these dramatic things I always do. You got to kind of think of what bread would I eat?
Yeah, what casual things can I do that like express my character?
Yeah, you just put yourself in those shoes that you're walking that street with their background.
Right. I think my advice was going to go along with the same thing that Dre just said. It was like that. My number one advice is say the weird thing. Like, just do it. Be open with that character and be open to just express a different side of yourself through it. I think for somebody like me who deals with a lot of psychological issues, including DID, like DnD has been a great like outlet for me because it allows me to become these different characters and give them all personalities that in one way or another kind of live in a society and let them roam free and not be so loud up inside of my head.
Like your mind mansion is just full of characters.
Yeah. It's like it's really like my my Fosters for imaginary friends.
Yes.
Like,
me and Riley literally watched 5 episodes in a row last weekend.
Oh, nice.
But that is my advice: is just say the weird thing. Just do it.
Julie, to clarify, because I think the question you had sent over was slightly different. Were you asking about like when you should RP versus asking for a skill check?
That I kind of lumped the two together.
Okay.
My last question, but yes, that was a
last
part of it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the way I would approach it is always start with RP. So whatever you're wanting to do, whether it be jumping, trying to sneak, whatever, you RP it first, because then the DM's going to take how you RP'd it to decide, one, if it actually requires a skill check, or two, you RP'd it really well and there's no skill check required. So like if it's a conversation and you're trying to talk with another person and persuade them, words are always going to be better anyway, so if you RP it well, I'm not going to ask you to do a persuasion. But if there's a little bit of gray area or you don't RP at all, then I'm going to ask for a skill check to coincide with it. Whereas there's some other ones where like if you describe it or how you're doing it, you might get advantage, those type of things. So my recommendation is always RP it first, and then the DM decides on what action needs to happen after that.
Right, and like this follows in the same like scenario where like if you RP it out first, like your intention could have been like say to persuade, but like maybe the words that you say actually comes out more deceitful, and like give that power to the DM to help push the narrative in the direction that you're trying to take it.
Or if you purposefully RP a conversation that's persuasion, and then the DM's like roll intimidation, you'd be like, well, do you think you could kind of bargain, like maybe persuasion because of how I said this? Or sometimes you can play the middle line where you can decide if you want it to be persuasion or deception. You know what I mean? And it's all like how you say it in the first place.
I see, that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't phrase that.
No. I honestly, I got too excited about the first half of the question and forgot about the second half.
Okay.
Well, that was wonderful, and I will be implementing it next game, basically. I'm so excited.
Wow.
Okay. Anybody else got another one?
I honestly, I don't think I have much. I did maybe have a question or two left for Aslan. I'm a little bummed that we didn't get through the other ones that we had for him. But maybe we can just get him to answer it another time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saved all the questions you sent me, so I have them on a Word doc. So the next time we run Q&A.
Oh, right, the spillover. Gotcha.
Either that or we can bombard them the next game before we start.
I think a lot of my curiosity has been actually satiated. I mean, I might think of a floating question if someone else comes up with something, but I think I'm settled for now.
I don't think so for me either. This was a lot, and in a good way. And I'm flattered the amount of questions that I got, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. But this was it was uplifting to be able to share my wisdom and experience, and also
failures.
and failures, and to share like teasers of things to come. It was just, this was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I wouldn't mind doing it again, or having it become a regular thing where we just kind of sit down and talk and ask those questions. And I think everybody did a great job with their questions. I think everybody did a great job with their answers. I really enjoyed tonight, and all of you are awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to you, Siri, but speaking of which, hey Siri, give a round of applause.
Perfect. Well, I think we'll leave it there.